How are you feeling? How long have you been here?
3 months, May 17th.
And what brought you?
That's difficult to answer.
Eventually resulted in your being here in the hospital.
That's difficult to answer.
the end. I'm burning in the stone. There's no place to hide. I'm burning in the stone. What have we done to the world? What have we done to the world? I'm burning in the stone. There's no place to hide. I'm burning in the stone. This is the final
What's up? What's up? I would never start the stream on mute. That would never happen. I would never, ever start the stream on mute. As you guys know, I am a professional streamer on the internet. I would never start the stream on mute. What are you guys talking about? What are you guys, a professional streamer? Yep, professional streamer on the internet. Hey guys, guess what? It's Friday and I am tired. Is anyone else tired? I am tired, man. I am so tired. I am so tired that I actually considered like basically canceling the stream today to sleep. I really did. I almost didn't even stream today. I was like, F that. Like, I want to take a nap. And then I knew that you guys wanted me to stream. And, you know, we got some crazy content to cover today. We're doing a little bit of a lighter day. I'm trying to get back into like our normal swing of things. We've been doing a lot of protest coverage lately. And of course, we are still going to continue to do the protest coverage. In fact, there's supposed to be a protest tonight at the governor's mansion in Minneapolis. There was a protest earlier today, a couple hours ago. I was this close to going live to do protest coverage earlier, but I didn't want to. I didn't want to. I was being incredible. I'm an Aries, as you guys know. I'm an Aries. And sometimes I just have to be selfish. And sometimes I just have to say, I don't want to listen to protesting right now. I can only take so much. Listen, I have trained myself over the course of many years doing this to withstand an extreme amount of socialism. I have listened to things that would blow your mind. I have spent literally, there was one day there was, for Socialism Conference weekend, we basically watched 48 straight hours of socialism in like a single weekend. We have to take a break to sleep and everything, obviously. But even then, we watch a fuck ton of socialism. And so even I sometimes need a break from watching socialism, because even me, I'm just like, I just can't do it. I can't do it all the time. And if you think I'm trying to stall right now because I'm looking for something on my Twitter to show you guys, you are right about that. I am trying to stall right now because I'm looking for something on my Twitter. Why the fuck do I tweet so much? Found it. Anyway, I am trying to get back into the normal swing of things where we do actually regular streams covering the far left and stuff. But the thing of it is, on the normal streams that we do happy hours on Friday. And so even though yesterday we kind of took a break from covering the left because of an accident, but it actually turned out really well. I'm going to tell you guys about that in a second. So yesterday we took a little bit of a break from covering the left because a video I wanted to watch was no longer available. And so I had to come up with a new plan last minute. And I decided to watch Owen Shroyer because he's really handsome and he was talking about the Epstein files, which is disturbing and morbid. And listen, there's nothing more that I find appealing than a handsome man talking about something disturbing and morbid. You guys know me. I'm a very macabre person. I know. Don't be fooled by the green on the wall behind me. That's going to get painted red at some point. I'm a very macabre person, and so if you can deliver me like a handsome man talking about something weird and morbid and really disturbing, I'm gonna watch that. But before we talk about Owen, let's talk about Cynthia. Cynthia! Same feel better, money, feel better. I always feel better when you're around, Cynthia, whether or not you're giving me money, but thank you for your ongoing and perpetual generosity. We appreciate you very much, Queen Cynthia of the chat. So yesterday we did take a little bit of a break from socialism because of an accident of circumstance. But guess what, guys? It actually, you know what? Sometimes the universe just does this. Sometimes the universe winks at us. Sometimes the universe wants us to know that it's trying to coax us in the right direction. The universe just wants us to be happy, guys. The universe really just wants us to be happy. And yesterday, when I decided to watch Owen Shroyer talk about the Epstein files, let's just say that maybe fate was pushing in that direction, because last night, Owen Shroyer retweeted my coverage. And he said, big shout out to Karlyn tonight for great coverage. P.S. If I took your advice, I could never interview you. But what if you interviewed me? How does that work? And so, yes, it does appear as though Owen Shroyer at some point will be coming on the channel. DMs have been exchanged. And it looks like we might have a new friend in Owen Shroyer. And that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. I have to be honest. I was not expecting that at all. But that's kind of cool. So that was awesome. I appreciated everyone who responded to Owen saying that, yeah, Owen, this is a really good idea. You should definitely talk to Karlyn, Owen. This is a real good idea. So I appreciate everyone who responded with that. And so, sometimes when we take a break from leftist coverage, sometimes it just works out for the better. And that's awesome. But on Fridays on the channel, we actually have a tradition on Fridays where usually we just watch lighter coverage, and traditionally I drink beer, and I may have a beer or two later. I might later, but for right now, I'm drinking some coffee because I'm tired as fuck. So no beer drinking just yet, but yeah, Owen better not cut his hair before he comes on the channel. That's what I should have said to him. Like, Owen, I can only bring you on my channel if you promise not to cut your hair. Okay, we have standards on the channel, Owen. Anyway, so I have to cover it. I have to. We are returning to Candace because apparently Candace has just... Listen, you guys know I enjoy a good train wreck. You guys know that I think Candace is one of the most entertaining people on the internet. You guys know I have no issue with Candace imploding so that we can all watch it and just marvel at the psychology of it all. You guys know that Candace apparently has now said that she used to go to a special school because she has magical powers, and that Charlie Kirk also went to a special school because he had magical powers. And Candace says that her and Charlie Kirk used to have conversations about going to a special school to have magical powers because they had magical powers when they were kids, and they didn't realize that not everyone had magical powers. So what we're finding out this week is that Candace and Charlie Kirk were X-Men. Candace has transported herself into X-Men. I don't know how the fuck this happened. And you guys know, I am very woo-woo. I say openly, I am psychic as fuck because I am. I worked for years to develop my intuition. I went on meditation retreats. I went on hardcore meditation retreats where you don't even want to know the things I put myself through on meditation retreats to develop my intuition. I have gone to Peru to do ayahuasca on a fucking mountaintop and have a sweat lodge with a shaman in Peru who gave me God knows what because I was hallucinating all sorts of shit. I have done years of spiritual training to become as psychic as I am today. And so I have no problem with saying that I do believe it's a real thing. I know it's a real thing. It exists in my life. Why do you guys think that I'm so good at analyzing the left and getting in their heads? Because I'm psychic as fuck and I can go into anyone's head and read their energy if I feel like it, although some people are easier than others. Now, but here's the thing. W's in the chat for Wolf. W's, 5 channel memberships. W's for me talking about being psychic. How cool is that? Thanks so much, Wolf, for starting us off. But here's the thing, guys. Here is the thing. When I talk about being psychic, I know I sound crazy to normal people. I know that. And that's fine. That's fine. I don't care. I know I don't feel like I have to prove myself. I have a damn near 100% accuracy rate with predicting the left for a reason. My track record speaks for itself. That's not how that works, bot. It's not about knowing what your conscious thoughts are right now. I would have to read tarot cards to figure that out. Okay? Settled. I'm not reading your tarot cards for $2 fucking. Are you serious? Anyway, so while I do believe in woo-woo and psychicry, and I'm very attuned to all that stuff, and I have weird conversations with people about this all the time, and I know all that energy stuff, and you guys know that we do a spiritual show on the channel called Disenrage. We're not doing it right now because of protest coverage, but we do it fairly regularly. We talk about this, and we talk about, and Jennifer comes on the channel, and she's a witch. So I'm not saying that I don't believe that there are magical things in the world. I'm saying that the fact that Candace Owens is talking about going to a special school for gifted children with Charlie Kirk because they could both astral project or some such shit, that's fucking crazy. Just because I say I'm psychic doesn't mean I think every wacko who says they're psychic on the internet is also telling the truth. In fact, I think most people who talk about this stuff are fucking insane, you know, and it just goes along with the territory. And you might think I'm insane too, but I really don't care, honestly. Anyway, so I thought that we would watch Candace's coverage this week of the Charlie Kirk stuff and just obviously this last one is the episode where she talked about being psychic and going to a special school, but there's some other stuff we can watch, like the couple episodes leading up to it, just to make sure we get the whole mise en scène of the Candace experience. And I think that's going to be really entertaining. Do you guys want to do that? 1 in the channel if that sounds like a good plan. 2 in the channel if that sounds like a horrible plan and you don't want to do that. Let me know. Let me know. Also, for some reason, I feel like I should watch this 10-minute clip of Dan Bongino being a boomer. I have never listened to Dan Bongino in my life. Not even when I was in the conservative media ecosystem in 2020. I have literally never listened to Dan Bongino. Mostly because he seems very stupid. No offense to anyone who likes Dan Bongino, but my impression of Dan Bongino is that he's very stupid. And because he's so stupid, he will literally read whatever talking points people give him to read. And so I never really bothered to listen to him because I didn't want to, because I don't like the feeling of losing IQ points. Hey, W's in the chat for Laura for gifting a channel membership. Appreciate that, Laura. You rock. But for some reason, maybe it's my psychic intuition kicking in. Sometimes I just see content on the internet and I'm like, you should watch that, Karlyn. And there's no rhyme or reason for it. But I saw this clip pop up in my feed today and I was like, that seems like a W clip to watch on the stream. It's 10 minutes long. I might as well watch it with friends instead of sitting here and watching it by myself. So we're going to watch that clip of Dan Bongino. And that's what we're going to do. Also, Mercado Media is supposed to go live in like half an hour. to cover the protests outside the governor's mansion in Minneapolis. So we might put that above my head. If there's other protest coverage, there were high school walkouts today. A bunch of students at the University of Minnesota chained themselves to the president's building, and they chanted like all the chants that you think they would chant and all that stuff. So they've been protesting all day in Minneapolis again. They've been protesting in Los Angeles, Seattle, all over the country. Students are doing walkouts, same old shit, different day, honestly. But I will put protest coverage above my head just in case anything happens. We should probably be responsible and check in on it. So that's what I have planned for the day. Now, what else did I want to talk to you guys about? Oh, I remember. Tomorrow. Yes. Has he been released? Is this confirmed? Is Jake Lang out of prison? Fuck yeah. That means we're doing protest coverage tomorrow, and it's going to be awesome. And I think Jake Lang's little rally at the Capitol was supposed to start around noon or something, noon their time, which means it's probably going to start earlier because the shit show started way earlier the other day. So that's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, so we'll be doing protest coverage tomorrow, guys. But another activity I thought we could do tomorrow is I thought we could go back and do some more formal Socialism Saturdays. Now, for people who are new to the channel, how many of you, one in the chat if you have never been to a Socialism Saturday, two in the chat if you have been to Socialism Saturdays within the last 6 months or so, three in the chat if you are a Socialism Saturday veteran. One, if you have never been to a Socialism Saturday. Two, if you've been coming to Socialism Saturday in the last 3 to 6 months or so. Three in the chat if you are a Socialism Saturday veteran. What a good mix of people. What a good mix of people. Lots of ones and twos, though. Lots of threes as well. I like to see that. So, traditionally on Saturdays on my channel, we do Socialism Saturday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. That's been kind of wonky lately because of the protest coverage. But I want to go back to do Socialism Saturday because there are so many new people on the channel that have literally never been to a Socialism Saturday. And so I was thinking, what better way to introduce new people to Socialism Saturday than to go back about 7 months and to watch a couple presentations from the Socialism 2025 conference. Now, this is a conference that I covered live on my channel when it happened. The Socialism Conference is a real conference. It is a 4-day conference in Chicago every year, sometimes on July 4th, sometimes on Labor Day. It just depends on what year it is. And this is literally 4 straight days of socialists giving presentations to other socialists. This is an event that I went undercover at in 2023. So I have actually sat through the Socialism Conference. I was sitting in a room with these people in a disguise wearing a chest binder for 3 straight days for 8 hours a day. You guys think you guys, this is why I have no sympathy when conservatives are like, Karlyn, I can't watch this socialism. It's too hard. I'm like, motherfucker, let me tell you about the time I literally sat in a room with Antifa for 8 fucking hours a day for 3 days in a row at the Socialism Conference just to get a couple clips that went viral on the internet and expose what they say behind closed doors. You think I'm putting upon you because I asked you to watch a 2-hour presentation? You can't handle the fucking truth, conservatives. You have no idea the shit I have put myself through to expose this information, especially all you new people. Birdman Racing, yes, it is confirmed. Jake Lang was released at 3:20 today. No, he has to stay 3 blocks away from the state capitol. That's okay. Jake Lang can go protest somewhere else. That's totally fine. He can go protest somewhere else. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Jake Lang will figure out an alternate place where he can protest. I still feel like we're going to get a W for tomorrow. And it's going to be awesome. Anyway, so I thought that tomorrow at 6 p.m., we will do an official episode of Socialism Saturday. Don't worry, we'll have protest coverage too, because we need to introduce all the new people to the magic of Socialism Saturday. And what better way to do that than to watch Reagan's boyfriend? Reagan is obsessed with Brian Bean. If you have never heard a Brian Bean presentation, Brian Bean is going to call to overthrow the government in this presentation. I know that because we've already watched it. But I think it's a really good presentation because, first of all, Brian Bean is insane. Secondly, Brian Bean says the quiet part out loud all the time. Thirdly, Reagan is obsessed with Brian Bean. Fourthly, this is directly related to the anti-ICE protests going on because Brian Bean has written a book basically calling for the abolition of the police and all that stuff. And of course, the abolition of the police is directly related to the abolition of ICE. To the far left, they are the same thing. Okay, so everything that Brian Bean says in this presentation also applies to ICE. It also applies to the pro-Palestine movement. You can see he's wearing a keffiyeh there because Brian Bean is a hardcore fucking leftist. So, tomorrow for Socialism Saturday, this is especially important if you are a new person on the channel. We will be watching real-life radical revolutionary socialists talk about what they believe. And if we got done that presentation quickly, we'll have to see how long it takes to get through it. We can also watch this explicit anti-ICE presentation that also took place at the Socialism Conference last year. The Socialism Conference is one of the best resources we have for this information on the far left. The things that get said at the Socialism Conference come into practice in the real world. These are the real activists, guys. The people at this event are the people that are driving far left activism all over the country, and they meet in Chicago every year for several days to discuss their plans, to network with each other, to give presentations, to learn from each other. You watch the Socialism Conference to know where far left activism is going. Yes, and Brian Bean is also married to one of our favorites, Dr. Mary Bowman, who I also recorded at the Socialism Conference back in 2023. It's a small socialist world. Murphy's Pool. Guys, get ready for a dad joke. You guys ready? A man was recently hospitalized with 6 plastic horses inside of him. The doctor is describing his condition as stable. Thanks, Murphy's Pool, for the dad joke. We really appreciate that. Appreciate that. W in the chat. So, that's what we're going to be doing tomorrow at 6 p.m., guys. Again, if you've never been to a Socialism Saturday before, I highly encourage you to come. Socialism Saturday, if you truly want to understand the far left, Socialism Saturday is the advanced level class that we will throw you into the deep end of the pool and we will immerse you in a socialist environment so that you can truly understand what goes through the minds of the far left. And I promise you, if you come to Socialism Saturday and you listen to what is said on these presentations in real life, you will never see the world the same way again. You will understand all of the crazy shit that's happening. And you don't have to take my word for it, guys. These are their presentations. We literally watched these presentations live when they happened, when they were streamed on the internet back in July. Okay, so I strongly recommend people come by the channel tomorrow at 6 p.m. That's going to be awesome. Also, not that one. Also, I need you guys to help me out with something. I need favors before we get into Candace. I need favors of people in the chat. Are you guys ready? Are you guys ready? Nick Sorter, who I have no issue with and I actually kind of appreciate. Nick Sorter posted earlier today. Leftists are holding a protest at the University of Minnesota, Twin Cities, demanding that ICE be a sanctuary for illegals. Yet there are no known ICE arrests on campus, per Andy No. They have no clue what they're even protesting, as usual. Nick, I like you, bro. I really do. I like Nick Sorter. I think he's a nice guy. I really do. That's not accurate, though, Nick. That's not accurate at all. And had Andy No bothered to inform his audience, as his responsibility should be, Nick Sorter might know that, but Andy No didn't inform his audience, and Nick Sorter didn't bother to look into it. So I responded, and I said, it doesn't matter if there are no known arrests. It's not about that. It's about overthrowing capitalism. Andy should be explaining that to people, but he refuses, or he just doesn't understand the subject he claims to be an expert in. Now, here's what I need you guys to do. You guys ready? You guys ready? Respond to this post and say I'm right. Okay. I need everyone to go and respond to my post and to tell Nick Sorter that I am right and that he should listen to me. That's what I need you guys to do. Go and respond to that post, please, because responding to the post will elevate it in the replies. Also, if you want to tag Andy No and remind him that he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about, please feel free to do that as well. So that's what I need. That's what I need. Just go respond, say I'm right, and everyone should listen to me. And Andy No doesn't know what he's talking about, and everyone should listen to Karlyn because Karlyn is literally spending all her time breaking this down and explaining it, and no one's fucking listening. I need another one though. I need another one. And again, I also like Cam Higbee. This is not a personal beef. I have no personal problem with Cam Higbee. I think Cam Higbee is a nice guy. This is not personal. However, I think that most people who've been following my content for a while will be amused that Cam Higbee has discovered that socialists write books. And he has discovered that because he found a bunch of socialist books in a Barnes & Noble. And I think it's very sweet. It's like a new person. It's like a new person coming in, and it's like I get so many new people on my channel who they start to watch my content, and then they send me all these clips of things, and it's like really noob stuff, and I've seen it all before, but they're trying so hard, and they're excited, and they're learning, and I don't want to squelch their dreams or anything, but because I want them to learn and I want them to continue to grow with it. I'm just like. I said to Cam, Cam, if you think the Barnes & Noble books are crazy, because that's pretty tame shit, I promise you. If you think this is crazy, you might not be ready for the insanity. I can show you this times 100 easily. I need you guys to respond to this and tell Cam that I'm right and that he should talk to me. Respond to this post, please. And you guys can say whatever you want. I'm not going to tell you what to say. I'm just asking everyone to respond to it and to like it so that it gets elevated in the comments. And you know what? Again, I have no issue with Cam Higbee. I just think it's the naivete is so sweet. It's so sweet. Can you imagine Cam Higbee going to an anarchist book fair? Can you imagine Cam Higbee going to an anarchist bookstore? Can you imagine how much Cam Higbee's head would explode if we just toured him around No Blogs or your average zine distro or anything like that? Can you imagine? It's very sweet. He needs to go beyond where he's at though. He needs to evolve in his understanding of this. And listen, if Cam doesn't want to talk to me, that's fine. That's fine. No one has to talk to me. It's fine. But if Cam doesn't talk to me and he keeps posting this entry-level newbie stuff online, don't think I won't be in his replies saying exactly what I want to say. And don't think I won't be in his replies with my audience. And we're all going to say, Cam, this is very sweet, but you don't know the first fucking thing, bro. You don't know the first thing, and we want you to know the first thing. We want you to inform the audience. But if you think social justice books at Barnes & Noble is the biggest thing we have to worry about, bro. Wait until Cam Higbee finds out about zine libraries at public colleges and in high schools. Wait until Cam Higbee finds out about zines and how they do high school classes teaching kids how to make zines, which are socialist propaganda. Wait until Cam Higbee finds out about all the shit that we study on this channel. Like, his mind's gonna fucking explode, and it's gonna be actually glorious to watch. Effectual Insurrection over on Rumble, thanks for the super chat. Dan has a good here. He just doesn't do his research very well. The guy had to overcome cancer. I don't care if he had to overcome cancer. Like, no offense. Like, I have relatives who died of cancer, but overcoming cancer is not an excuse for being stupid. I'm sorry. He got a New York way of explaining shit. I love his heart as pure. I don't know about that effectual insurrection, but I appreciate the money. Please tell me Owen Shroyer interview is a go. Yeah, we're figuring it out. Relax. Owen hopefully will come on the channel. We're DMing and that sort of stuff. All right. Now that we've already done our homework, let's start with this Dan Bongino clip. And we're going to watch the Dan Bongino clip and see what he had to say and see if I think Dan Bongino is smart or stupid. And then we're going to go into Candace for the rest of the time, and we will be doing protest coverage as well as there are opportunities to do it. So everyone, please make sure you mount the like button for me. Please make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're not already. And if you feel like sending in a super chat or some channel memberships, we have a ton of spy streams coming up next week, by the way. Like a metric ton of spy streams next week. So send in those channel memberships. Get the newbies access to spy stream. It'll be awesome. But let's get this party started with Dan Bongino talking about everything he thinks is wrong with the right.
I haven't been able to explain.
Oh, wait a second. Professional streamer on the internet. My sound was set up correctly, of course. Let's do this again.
I haven't been able to explain this for the last.
Uh-oh. Already got a super chat. Thanks. Use sick time to learn more. Exactly. Thanks, I am. I appreciate it.
Few days. A couple people came. You know what? I don't want to say to you dopey, dumb, worn out cliches like, Twitter, X, Twitter isn't real life. No, Twitter is real life. I mean, a lot of, not all of it, but every platform is bots, by the way. It's not exclusive to Twitter. Botting is a huge problem everywhere. Rumble, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. It's an issue with platforms. Okay. So I don't want to say it's all botting and not real life. Twitter is real life. There are real people on there with real opinions. But I want to be clear on something. I spent the last year of my life pretty much outside of the public eye doing your work over in Washington, D.C. We went out, Paul and I, occasionally, maybe twice a month. We went to a couple concerts and we went out to dinner, I don't know, like once a month or so when she would come back to Washington, D.C. Why am I telling you this? Because, folks, I mentioned the other day an organized network of people that is very committed to taking down the MAGA movement. And a lot of you were skeptical, not so much the Bongino army, you know what's going on, but others who just kind of rolled in over the last few days. And hopefully you're enjoying the show. Maybe not. Maybe you're just here to flame the comments. That's cool, too. Whatever, man. Do your thing. We just want you to show up. But I didn't explain who this organized movement is and why it's happening. They all have one goal. And I'm going to describe it in terms of three tranches of people. And once you see this, I promise you'll never unsee it. I've had a unique insight on it from the other side where I get to see some information that not all of you have. But I promise you it's very real. It's a lot of groups, but three who are...
Is Dan Bongino admitting that he looked at the FBI files of his political enemies who are saying things he doesn't like online? I don't know, Dan. That kind of seems like an abuse of power to me.
Are powerful, and they use X and platforms to make you believe something's not real. The reason I brought up me going out and stuff with Paul is I would be out in the street, and the things you think the public really cares about. Listen, this is really important. Justin, you paying attention? This is super important.
Super important,
the things you think the majority of people, I should say, I'm not saying nobody cares about, the majority of things people care about, I promise you they don't. I had not, in the year I was gone, not a single person came up to me and asked me about issues. I promise you think if you see them on X.
Effectual insurrection. I don't give a flying fuck if he had 213,000 live viewers. I truly don't give a fuck. Do you want to know why I don't give a fuck? Because that's not proof that he's saying anything valuable. It's proof that he's a tool of the establishment and they allow him to get that many people. The fact that he had over 200,000 live stream viewers, that only says to me he is part of the system. He is a narrative shill that is holding up the approved political narrative, because there is no fucking universe that they ever would have allowed that stream to get as big as it did if he wasn't saying the things that they want him to say. So that does not add to his credibility.
Are the number one issue du jour. Not one. Not a single person. Now, people are generally nice in person. I get it. There's a bias there. But I'm not kidding. Not a single person came up and said anything negative. So why do you see all this negativity in comments and on X and elsewhere? Yes, some of it's botting, but it's not all of it. There are three groups of people who want to see this MAGA coalition fail. The first, let's just go with the obvious ones. Liberals and the media.
Oh,
but they're the same thing.
Oh, my God.
Liberals and the media just hate Republicans.
No.
The MAGA movement, folks, it doesn't matter. They hated Mitt Romney, who's not even barely a Republican. They hated George W. Bush. They hate Donald Trump.
Guys, we're watching a 10-minute clip with Dan Bongino, and then we're going to get to Candace. We haven't gotten to Candace yet. Don't worry. You haven't missed anything. We're warming up, okay? It's Friday. We're warming up. We're going to go do Candace next.
Hated Ronald Reagan. They just love liberals, socialists, collectivists, and communists. Anyone who's on their side is their enemy.
This was the deputy director of the FBI. Guys, do you want to know why I truly and sincerely believe I know more about the far left in America than the FBI? Do you want to know why? Because Dan Bongino, who was the deputy director of the FBI up until like 3 seconds ago, thinks liberals and socialists are the same thing. AC Cat, thanks for the super chat. What's my opinion of Kyle Seraphin? Snake. Do not trust him. Now, that's not to say that everything Kyle Seraphin says or does is bad. I don't think everything Kyle Seraphin says or does is bad. I think Kyle Seraphin is right on some stuff. But Kyle Seraphin, first of all, Kyle Seraphin is very intimidated by women that make content online that are smarter than him. And so for that reason alone, I would never trust Kyle Seraphin. No. But like Kyle Seraphin is perfectly willing to twist the truth as long as twisting the truth allows his narrative to shine through. I've seen him do it a number of times. I don't fucking like it. I liked him at first when I first met him, and then I just saw him do thing after thing after thing that I was like, that's really fucking underhanded and shady and not intellectually honest. And so that's how I feel about but that's not to say that everything Kyle Seraphin says is wrong. Kyle Seraphin absolutely does get things right. Kyle Seraphin also is a manipulative jackass that hates women that are smarter than him. So that's my opinion.
Donald Trump is just the latest iteration of that. Liberals in the media, they are the same thing. They just hate us, so they'll attack guys like me, not just me, but anyone else in the space too. Ben Shapiro, Mark Levin, Sean Hannity, Glenn Beck. It doesn't matter. Anyone who tries to advance a Republican, conservative, MAGA, or conservatarian agenda, the liberals in the media hate, so they want to take you down. Now, there's another group of people out there. I've been calling them the doomers. These are people who, you may say, well, where did they come from? Why didn't we see them so much in the 45 administration? Trump won. Well, folks, in Trump 1, they knew Donald Trump was going to be Trump 2 at some point. That point just happened recently in the recent election, obviously. Had the 2020 scheme. However, they knew there was going to be Trump 2. No one wanted to go up against the Lion King. So did you notice you didn't see as much doomerism? You saw, as a matter of fact, very little. It was almost non-existent amongst what we call, I guess, the influencer class. So why are you seeing it now? Folks, once you see this, listen to me. I promise you will never unsee it. The doomers know Donald Trump is not running again. And they have a feeling that the MAGA movement is the Donald Trump movement, not the MAGA movement. Now, I agree and disagree with that. I agree that Donald Trump is a peerless figure in modern America.
Listen, we're going to listen to the rest of this clip. There's another 5 minutes of it, but I've already seen enough to know that this guy's full of shit. I've already seen enough. This guy's full of shit. This guy is a narrative shill. This guy is reading whatever talking points he's supposed to read to advance a narrative. And if you can't see that just based on the first 5 minutes of this fucking clip, I don't know what to tell you. I really don't. I'm sure that some of you are fans of Dan Bongino, but this guy's full of shit, and he's gonna lie to you, and he will say and do whatever he wants to make money and maintain his status because he's a fucking meathead idiot midwit that doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about.
Maybe in American history, I don't think that's up for dispute. There is no other Donald Trump. When Donald Trump was made, the mold was broken. God broke the mold. He is just a fascinating figure for a million different reasons, and he will not be replicated. The doomer class, I hope you're following me here, thinks that when Donald Trump is off the stage in 2028, that the MAGA movement is going to fall apart. So the doomers who pretend to be part of the MAGA movement really aren't. They sense a fracturing coming up, and they have their preferred candidate. So they think whoever's going to inherit the MAGA movement as is, passed down by Donald Trump through an endorsement or whatever.
Yeah. How can anyone get around the fact that Dan Bongino was involved in covering up the Epstein files? Based on what we saw on Owen's stream yesterday, Dan Bongino had access to all that information. How can anyone forgive him now that those files have come out and everyone has seen the shit that's in those files? How can anyone forgive Dan Bongino for having a very active and prominent role in covering up those files and trying to prevent the American people from seeing them? That's mind-boggling to me. That's mind-boggling. Don't fucking ever tell me that conservatives care about pedophiles and ending pedophilia and stopping pedophiles. Don't fucking ever tell me that conservatives actually care about that shit again. If they're embracing him, please.
That it's all going to fracture, and they want to be there to clean up what they think is going to be the mess. So what the doomers do is, let's say some legacy figure from this administration, whether it's Vance or Rubio, whoever runs for, that may not be their guy. They may be looking at someone else. So what they can't have Vance and Rubio or others do is run on an agenda that was a success. Folks, you think I'm bullshitting you. I'm telling you, you got another thing coming. I have seen it. I've been on the other side of it. It is well organized. That's the second group of people. They have the exact same goal as the libs and the media, tranche one of people, which is to destroy the MAGA movement. Now, the end goal of who they want in there is different. They want a liberal, a collectivist, Mamdani or AOC or whatever.
What the fuck?
But they want someone other than the MAGA person or the MAGA designee going forward.
Wait. So Dan Bongino's theory is that there are people on the right that are trying to destroy the MAGA movement because they want to elect a socialist? This guy's a fucking moron.
That's why you see this constant shitting on the administration at all times. The border, entries by illegal migrants are down to 0. It should be -5. There's always a complaint. Always a complaint. It's because they have a different person in mind, and they think when Donald Trump is off the scene, which he wasn't going to be in Trump 1, which he was, that's why you didn't see as much of this. They have to make sure they seed the battlefield so that no one can run on a record of success and say, hey, I'm Donald Trump's guy. Look what we...
By the way, Dan Bongino is projecting how he sees the world onto everyone else, by the way. I hope you understand. This is a perfect freeze frame. My freeze frame game is strong, man. Dan Bongino is basically telling you how he thinks about the different politics and the different groups and how he's moving the pieces. He's projecting his own bullshit onto everyone else.
Did you get it? Remember this conversation?
Yo, we got a super chat.
Folks.
We got a super chat. You should do an entire show with just one still image from Dan's first press conference in office. No, I don't think I want to do that. I don't think I will. But thank you for the helpful suggestion and the money. I appreciate it.
Bookmark this show. I don't care what you got to do. Send yourself an email with the link, save it, bookmark it on X, put it in your Rumble favorites somewhere. I promise you're going to see it. And all of this as the 2028 field for the presidency starts to materialize, all of a sudden, all the doomerism is going to make perfect sense.
Mm-hmm.
I'll bet you my right arm on it. I'm never wrong. Not on this stuff.
Okay, Dad. Okay.
Finally, there's a third class of people. The third class of people after October 7th went crazy.
Yo, W's for Steve in the chat. 5 gifted channel memberships. Thanks so much, Steve, for generously donating those memberships. Congrats to everyone who got one. We appreciate you, bro. Okay, now we're talking about the Nazis. Dan Bongino's going to talk about Nazis now, the people who don't want to give money to Israel.
Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know how many times I have to tell you this. I stand fully, completely, and strongly against anti-Semitic bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how many times I got to tell you this.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing how many people think it's like the current thing to say like they hate the Jews or something. Really? You believe that? You realize where that's led throughout human history, absent the immorality of it? Now, you may...
Guys, America first means protecting Israel and Jews. Did you guys know that? You can't be America first if you don't want to, deify Israel and Jews.
Say, oh, gosh, Dan, I can't believe that that's actually happening. Really? I promise you, go look at the Twitter. If the botting that does happen, and again, it's not all botting. The botting that does happen is very well organized.
Carter, bro.
It is totally synthetic. It is all anti-Jewish.
Everyone who says something I don't like on Twitter is a bot, okay? If you see someone saying something and I, Dan Bongino, don't personally approve of it, that person is a bot.
Nonsense. Read the comments. It's from like, I hate the Jews 101 and stuff. Just look at it. You can see it. It's so clearly fake.
Yeah, okay.
But it's an organized movement of people. And it's not a very large group of people who've learned to amplify social media to attack anyone in the administration.
Those kids learned how to manipulate the Twitter algorithm, and now they get more views on their tweets than I do, and they post mean replies that I don't like, and therefore they are all bots, and it is all organized by Qatar. Is that where we're going here? Hey, thanks, Cynthia. W to Cynthia for the 5 gifted channel memberships. Appreciate you as always, dear. Effectual insurrection. So, Dr. K, I found the sauce and docs I mentioned last night. I just DM'd you on X with the info I mentioned last night. I'm driving now. Let me know if it went through. I will take a look when I have a chance. Effectual insurrection. Thanks so much for the super chat. Really appreciate it, bro. And don't fucking send me super chats while you're driving, please. I don't want to be responsible for that.
Or outside who doesn't go and attack the Jews. 100%. Look and just read the comments. Don't take my word for it. Just go and look. Go look. You'll see it. It's everywhere. They all have the same goal. It is to dismantle this movement, take it apart from the inside, cause disruption, pick up the pieces, and rebuild it into something far different than a movement that actually conserves liberty. They all have the same goal.
Mm-hmm.
Libs, the anti-Jew crowd, and the doomers. The exact same goal. Once you see it,
okay, Dan,
you'll never unsee it. Look at the people sending out the messages. Look at who they associate with. Just listen to it. Just read the comments. Read their hand. They don't even hide it.
That was the most gay cringe clip of low IQ midwittery that I have watched in a really long time. And I got to say, I kind of thought that Dan Bongino was stupid. I was pretty clear about that. That's why I never listened to him in the first place. But I really didn't. That surpassed even my expectations for the amount of IQ points that we all lost listening to that clip. That was some of the stupidest shit that I've heard in so long. How? Oh, I know how, because he supports Israel and that's all that matters. And he says the right talking points and that's all that matters. That is how he has over 200,000 live viewers, because he supports Israel and reads the talking points they give him and never questions it because he's not smart enough and just says things that don't make fucking sense and are completely unhinged from reality. Old Subsailor, thanks for the $5. There you go again, Dr. K, sugarcoating things. I'm never going to ban you, Old Subsailor. Don't worry about it. If you guys send me fun fact, guys, if you send me regular super chats, the chances of me banning you go significantly down. If you send me regular super chats or are helpful to me, you can basically do whatever you want. Bot doesn't fucking listen to a thing that I say. Do you know why Bot can get away with that, even though she rarely sends super chats because she doesn't have any fucking money? Bot runs one of the Karlyn Updates account on Twitter, and she's very helpful. So Bot can say whatever and do whatever the fuck she wants. Reagan runs one of the accounts on Twitter. Reagan is extremely helpful. She can say and do whatever the fuck she wants. Like they're like, if you just are useful to me in some way, either through money or through deeds, I'm never going to ban you from the chat. You've lost all respect for him? Yeah, that happens, doesn't it, Suzanne? Thanks so much for the super chat. I appreciate it. All right. Well, Dan Bongino is a moron. You guys want to watch Candace? Should we watch some Candace? Mercado should be streaming anytime now. We will bring that up when he starts streaming. All right. Here is where I want to start with Candace. I want to go back a couple days. Crumbling alibis from 9/11 to 9/10. Candace episode 301. Erica Kirk is in the thumbnail, so I'm going to assume it's about that. And I feel like we need to watch the last two episodes just to figure out where Candace is going in terms of the conversations about her and Charlie Kirk having magical powers and going to a special school, because it's important to have context, you know? So let's get this party started, guys. If you have not already, please make sure you mount that like button. In fact, now that I'm looking at it, there is a shocking disparity between the number of people watching the stream right now on YouTube and the number of people who have mounted the like button. So I'm going to need those numbers to come up before we start the stream. I'm going to need those numbers to come on up on the like button front. You can do whatever you want to the like button, but you got to do something to it, bro. Mounting the like button lets YouTube know to recommend my content to more people. It is critically important to keeping me out of the YouTube shadow ban that has plagued my channel for years and years and years. So please, let's get those likes up. Come on. We can do better than that. Come on. We're like not even halfway, guys. We're not even half the people who are watching the stream right now have liked the video. You guys can do better. I believe in you. No likes, no video. No likes, no video. I will sit here all day and wait, motherfuckers. And you don't want me to do that because I'm an Aries and that's going to have some repercussions. Thanks, Little Miss, for the super chat. I appreciate it. I remember years back, you straightened me out with a strongly worded love. I'm still listening every day. Did you see the vids I sent you? I did see you sent me something. I haven't had a chance to look at it yet. Thank you so much for your ongoing support, though. I really do appreciate it. All right. I guess that's better for now. Let's start.
All right, you guys, happy Tuesday. A lot to uncover today. First and foremost, we have a lot of alibis that were given to us about September 10th, where people were when they got the news. And I have to say, these alibis are beginning to crumble like Building 7 on 9/11. We're going to talk about that too, Building 7, very briefly.
Oh, good.
Also,
okay,
Ben Shapiro watches every single minute of this show. Trust me, he directly quotes it all the time, everywhere he goes. We don't know.
See, this is again, if Candace just fucking dropped all the Charlie Kirk shit and she focused all her vitriol on Ben Shapiro, everyone would be happier. Everyone would be happier. Candace's audience would be happier. They just don't know it yet. Candace would probably be happier because if Candace focused all of her vitriol on Ben Shapiro, everyone would love her and give her so much positive attention. But this Charlie Kirk magical bullshit is just, it's distracting her from the real enemy. Thank you so much. Candace scares me. This is my first time. Oh, this is your first time watching Candace? Oh, welcome. You're in for a treat today. Can I recommend alcohol?
But we know, and you have to watch this clip of him attempting to make fun of me. It's glorious. It's glorious. I really have one. Welcome back to Candace.
Thanks, Candace.
A lot going on, you guys, a lot to cover, to uncover, and apparently our government is out there just trying to discover certain things. And I just have to tell you what's going on in this world right now, the best way that I can make you understand this. We're essentially the Muggles, for those of us who read Harry Potter, maybe those of us who were dweebing it like me and read it a few times in the story of Harry Potter. We're the Muggles. There's this entire world of witchcraft and wizardry, spiritual darkness and spiritual light that's happening. People that are practicing literally Babylonian magic. And they intentionally rendered us as the Muggles, the people who are not aware that it's going on at all. That all seems so ridiculous. That can't be true. And I think that began, by the way, transforming us into idiots. It began when in America, when they removed the Bible out of the classroom. It was to be taught at public schools, the Bible. So that you.
Okay. I don't mean to offend any Christians that might be listening right now, because you guys are allowed to believe whatever the fuck you want, and I don't really care. I'm just going to point out that the Bible is pretty antithetical to believing in energy and psychic magic. And again, I say that as someone, I am very woo-woo, I am very psychic. The Bible hinders spiritual awareness. It does not support spiritual awareness, Candace. It doesn't go along. So you want to say that the problem is we took the Bible out of schools, and then you want to do some episode about how you and Charlie Kirk have psychic powers and astral project? Those two things don't go together, Candace. Those two things are separate. Christianity was designed to rob us of our spiritual gifts. So I already know that Candace is full of shit. No offense to Christians. Again, you guys are allowed to believe what you want. We're all on our own path. I'm not going to argue about Christianity at all. Yeah, perfect freeze frame.
You knew your history, and then kind of Hollywood rose, and they sort of make fun of people that go to church. They've also, people that do go to church are having the word perverted in some ways, as we've covered extensively on this show. They made us think essentially that the Bible was a fairy tale, effectively blinding us all to the fact that it is very real. All of it is real. Angels, demons. Today's just going to be one of those WTF episodes when I share with you the true story of what the heck we were doing in Iraq.
I haven't done Zen cards.
Let's go back. Let's go backward.
You know what's funny? I used to do these Zen cards for my members on my channel. I haven't done Zen cards in years. I don't even know where my Zen cards are, but I don't know. Maybe I should do the Zen cards again. I've actually been giving feedback on them. And those episodes are from like 5 years ago. So apparently people like them. I don't know.
Let's recap the Muggle edition of what we were told, okay? The Muggle edition goes like this. On September 11th, 2001, some super de-duper evil Muslims, known to most of us now as Israelis, hijacked some planes and drove them into the Pentagon, flew them into the Pentagon building, also the Twin Towers, and then Building 7 kind of got really emotional seeing his friends get hit and went ahead and just collapsed itself, right? By the way, I should mention that over at the Pentagon, that plane was also very unique. It apparently had no wings when it just dove into the Pentagon. Some people said they heard a missile, but we won't ask questions. We're not here to debate those conspiracies. We were told that this was executed by the Saudis. They had hijacked the plane. How did we know? Well, because one of them was kind enough as to conveniently drop off his passport on the sidewalk to make sure that we knew that it was them that was getting away with these super duper evil crimes. I'll remind you of that video very quickly about the passport being found.
Donna, when these buildings came crashing down on Tuesday, they sent debris showering in several blocks in every direction. And it was in one of those areas a couple of blocks away from the World Trade Center site, apparently where that passport was found. The FBI announcing that it has found the passport of one of the hijackers who was on board one of those two planes that hit the Twin Towers on Tuesday morning.
I mean, I was young. But for those of you that were not young and were grown adults, did you just accept that? I was a kid. That's my excuse, okay? I was in middle school. But for those of you that were not in middle school, did you just accept this? Those of you that had families, did you go watch the news and go, no, that makes sense. Yeah, the debris just from...
in retrospect, it does seem a little far-fetched.
We could not even find human remains, but the debris just fell and unfortunately flew away out the window. He just threw his passport. I have so many questions about that. But again, we're not here to relitigate 9/11.
Remember, guys, it's very important to watch stuff like this from a detached perspective. Just because Candace is obviously insane doesn't mean everything that Candace says is wrong. Some of the things that Candace says are correct. And the fact that she's saying them on the internet repeatedly is probably some reflection of her insanity, but it doesn't actually mean that she's wrong, okay? It doesn't mean that she's wrong. So you have to compartmentalize. It's like sometimes Candace is going to say insane things and they're actually going to be insane. Sometimes Candace is going to say insane things and they're actually going to be correct. And you have to have discernment to know the difference between the two.
Then we know how we felt. We all gathered around those super bulky big screen TVs And we were perhaps expecting that as a result of this, we may indeed have to go to war with Saudi Arabia. That's what makes sense. They dropped the passports off for us to find in the debris.
Mm-hmm.
But that actually didn't happen. Oddly, we were told a couple of years later that we had to go to war with Iraq.
Thanks,
very quickly.
Ben. Appreciate it.
Now, yesterday, I mentioned to you all the Epic of Gilgamesh of Uruk. Understood.
I know exactly where I was. On 9/11, I was supposed to have lunch with a friend that I had in college, and he had an internship at a local news station, and he texted me and he said, well, it's like, I guess he IM'd me. So it was like, this was really before texting. He like IM'd me, like instant messenger, because that's how fucking old I am. I was in my dorm room at Boston University. It was my junior year, and I got a message from my friend that we weren't going to be able to have lunch. And he said, I'm sure you know why. And I had no idea what the fuck was going on because I had just woken up. And then I turned on the TV and I was like, oh shit. And then I went to my college, so the College of Communication at Boston University, and in the lobby of the college there was TV, and everyone was just standing around watching the TV, just in absolute shock and horror. And I was watching live when the second tower came down, and it was yeah, that was something. That was something. So that's where I was. That's where I was when that happened. Am I helpful? Yes, Trendlin, you're very helpful in so many different ways. I appreciate you. You will never get banned from the channel, but you better not ask me to play that fucking Penguin song. Thank you, Ben, for the super sticker. I appreciate it.
To be actually the story of Nimrod in the Bible. He was a warrior who rebelled against God, Nimrod, and established his own kingdom in Mesopotamia and in Assyria. I'm showing you this map of that region, so you can see where exactly we're speaking about. Kind of feels like where we're doing a lot of stuff right now, actually. Lebanon, Syria.
Very coincidental,
we're
Candace.
Talking about going into Iran. Well, I got an email yesterday from one of you, and I have to read it to you because I went, no way, no way. I also got some other emails, but this one I'm going to read to you. Dear Candace, I never email people, but I watched your show today and felt led to send you this email.
Guess what? Guess what? Mercado is up. There's a protest.
Zero agents. We don't play nice with ICE in Minnesota. The people will use our civil rights to the fullest extent.
So we got the FRSO out there. FRSO is Freedom Road Socialist Organization. Look at this person. What is this this has got to be a non-binary, right? This is a non-binary. Wow. Okay, I'm going to put the protest coverage above my head. I don't want to stop and watch the protest coverage because I've had enough leftist speeches for today. So I'm going to put the protest coverage above my head just so we can keep an eye on things. And if anything happens, yeah, it's literally fucking Pat. Yeah, it's literally Pat. And so, yeah, exactly. So we're going to keep watching Candace, and I will put the protest coverage above my head so we can all keep an eye on that as well. Does that sound like a plan for everyone?
Email you mentioned in your show about the Clintons wanting to find Gilgamesh's tomb. You need to look up the research that was done by Rob Skiba. They did find Gilgamesh, aka Nimrod. He was a giant. He was very well intact. Yes, we invaded just after he was found. The first place that we went during that war and set up a base was a museum. Not just any museum, the museum that held all of the relics for that. It also held all of the cuneiform tablets from Babylon and Gilgamesh and or Nimrod's tomb. They said that the museum was, quote, raided, and that the military, retrieved everything except for the tablets.
All right. Thanks for the super chat. Core, hello, me again. Hope your Friday is going well. I'm really tired, Core, if I'm being honest about it. But that's okay, because we're taking it easy today. We're watching some Candace content. I really appreciate the super chat. I hope your Friday is going well. We got Mercado above my head now, guys, so we can keep an eye on that protest. Old sub. No one is old unless you can remember before cell phones and PCs. I actually can remember before cell phones and PCs. I can remember before a time when I had a cell phone. I can remember getting internet. I can remember my family buying the first computer that we ever owned. I was young, but like I remember a time before we had a remote control and you had to go up and hit the button on the TV. But I think we had an older TV. I don't think that's actually reflective of my age. I think that's just like my parents had just like a fuck off old TV for like a while. Like yo. I remember when we used to carry around Palm Pilots. Does everyone remember a Palm Pilot? And the Palm Pilot wasn't connected to the internet. It was just a digital calendar. But you felt like important because you were carrying around a Palm Pilot. So you had a digital calendar instead of like a little book that you wrote stuff in. I'm fucking old, man. I'm old. Like skincare has done me well and I don't look my age at all. But of course I'm 29. So you guys like don't really need to know more than that. But yep. Mm-hmm. I remember when my first internet was AOL and it was like, you had to like go through the phone line. And then if anyone else picked up the phone in the house, like the internet would cut out. Those were my teenage years. Yup, I did. You want to know why? Because Boston University didn't have cable in the dorms when I went to BU. And so the only way to actually get TV in the dorm at Boston University was you had to have a fucking antenna, and you put aluminum foil around the antenna, and you have to do all the things to get the fucking broad. I did that shit in college, but that was only because Boston University didn't have cable in the dorms, which was fucking stupid.
That had to do with reincarnating and bringing back the Nephilim, fallen angels, noted in Genesis 6. The Bible speaks of this. This is not a fantasy. This is a fact. They have to have Nimrod to bring the Antichrist forth. Please go watch Babylon Rising by Rob Skiba or read the book or his other work on this. He has done many videos and books and backs his work up and uses scripture too. He's not the only one that knows this and had vetted these things out. I pray, if you didn't already know this, that it helps you continue on your quest for truth. Now, that term Babylon Rising instantly flagged to me as interesting because as I've been speaking to you about what the elite practice and it's telling you that this goes back to the Sumerian tablets, Project Looking Glass. So they freaked out when I discussed that. This idea of these occultists, Babylon Rising, the names of their books, this Babylonian magic, it's a theme that just keeps cropping up, whether you're referring to Aleister Crowley or Jack Parsons. So I went, wait a second. Because we never really did get an answer for what we were doing in Iraq, you know. The email happens to check out. Surely enough, back in 2002, a group of German geophysicists began making trips into modern-day Iraq to map out what they believed they had discovered, which was ancient Iraq that aligned with the ancient texts of Gilgamesh. I'm going to show you this headline because I honestly, this is like unbelievable. Two German geophysicists, one named Georg Fassbinder and Helmut Becker, they were working for the Bavarian State Conservation Office in Munich, and they began using magnetic mapping to discover the old city. And suddenly they go, wait a second, this is his tomb. When exactly did they find it? We know for sure that it was sometime between May 2002 and very early 2003.
Candace talking Rob Skiba. Is he a flat earther? I don't know who that is. Is she a flat earther? I don't know, bro. I don't know. But Candace is, what the fuck is Candace even talking about? What does this have to do with Charlie Kirk?
It became convinced that indeed they had found the actual tomb of Gilgamesh, also, like I said, known as Nimrod in the Bible.
Yeah, I'm sure that's
real.
This
is within the exact timeline that we make a decision to invade Iraq. It's going to get even more insane. So it's February 5th, 2003. Colin Powell publicly states, rather notoriously now infamously states, that Iraq possessed weapons of mass destruction. He's holding up the anthrax. He's addressing the United Nations Security Council.
Okay.
Then, that quickly, next month on March 20th, 2003, we invade Iraq. The public is informed a couple of weeks thereafter, the BBC, so state arm, that Fassbinder indeed had made the discovery of Gilgamesh's tomb. And conveniently, well, guess what our boys did? They were there. They happened to make their military base at that exact location. Like, this is just incredible. Colin Powell publicly states there's weapons of mass destruction during his address, and then bam, there we are on top of Babylon. Well, what exactly were we doing there? Other than, the obligatory mass murdering, plundering ancient Christian civilizations and structures, like a million Iraqi civilians that were killed. That's a given. We just are always destroying Christian relics. But, because we have to destroy history. They have to destroy history. But in retrospect, I have to say that I gotta stand for my boy Colin Powell looking into this, because I think he told the truth that they were indeed searching for weapons of mass destruction, but of a spiritual caliber, mass spiritual destruction. It is absolutely not a.
Is Candace arguing that we went to war in Iraq in order to find like Stargate or something? Is that what's being argued? We were looking for a weapon of mass spiritual destruction. Like, they were looking for some secret fucking. Are you serious? Okay. Hey, thanks Superfly for the super sticker. I really do appreciate it. Yes, but the biblical Stargate? Okay. Okay.
Conspiracy. You can look us up yourself, that we, like I told you, set up our military base, Camp Alpha, right on top of ancient Babylon. Our boys then began digging. They said that the reason that they chose this place was because they wanted to protect the site from looters. Except, I guess, the military guys got confused at the top. They accidentally started doing the looting. The instructions just weren't clear over there. This is actually a United Nations article published in 2009 when we had to confess our sins before the world. It reads in part, quote, Babylon was the capital city for two famous kings of antiquity, Hammurabi, who introduced one of the world's first law codes, and of course, Nebuchadnezzar. Partially excavated over the last century, much of ancient Babylon, which lies 90 kilometers south of Baghdad, remains undiscovered. Now, according to a 2005 British Museum report, the use of Babylon as a camp by a multinational force between April 2003 and December of 2004, by coalition forces is, quote, tantamount to establishing a military camp around the Great Pyramid in Egypt or the Stonehenge in Britain.
Yeah, okay.
Tells us later that Babylon was indeed plundered during the 2003 war, when contents from Hammurabi and Nebuchadnezzar museums and from the Babylon Library and Archive were stolen.
I need you to all listen. I need you to all listen to me right now. If I ever go insane like this, I need you guys to stage an intervention. I need someone to take me aside, and it should probably be Reagan, because I trust Reagan's judgment. I need you to take me aside and say, Karlyn, you're going too far, and you need to stop. Thanks, Grim, for the super chat. She's claiming elites were pursuing immortality and wanted to unleash the Antichrist. Okay.
Stolen and destroyed. Oh, well, did we just go to war because we wanted to go on an archaeological dig? And we actually weren't allowed to do that because it was discovered and it belonged to people in Iraq. So they were like, weapons of mass destruction. We're going to need to go there and set up camp and do some digging. Sure enough, that's what the local said they did. And they just transported things out of there. This is from NBC News. It tells us that a senior U.S. military officer has said that he's willing to apologize for damage that his troops caused in one of Iraq's most famous ancient sites. British Broadcasting Corp reported Friday that after the 2003 invasion of Iraq, U.S. Marines built a helicopter pad on the ruins of Babylon and filled their sandbags with archaeological fragments from the ancient city. It said vibrations from the U.S. helicopters caused the roof of one of the buildings to collapse. We were not there to protect ancient ruins. We were there to plunder and to loot and to steal. Right after we discover that Gilgamesh's tomb is in this city.
Hey, thanks for the super chat, Latrina. Like Art Bell without the dope bumper music. Yeah. Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Locals reported that at night, Americans were digging and they were extracting in military operations. But to where? That's the question. Where did they take Nimrod's remains? Why do they want them? What do you guys think they're trying to do with Nimrod's body? Time for you guys to wake up. Really wake up and to understand that.
Hey, thanks, LK. Thank you for bringing us all together. It means more than you'll ever know. Appreciate you, LK. Love you. Thank you so much for the super chat.
Many of us are kind of coming out of a fog. I just, certainly me. Never forget who Nimrod was in the Bible, right? Nimrod was the original one world government guy seeking to unite humanity under the Tower of Babel, one system created in defiance of the creator, one world government. This is why the mystery cults, they revere Nimrod. Freemasons revere Nimrod. In Masonic tradition, Nimrod is considered to be the first grand master, even before Solomon. I was telling you about that. This is all very real. It should shock you. We're probably like, was I about? Yes, absolutely. And so people then dug up, and this got a bit confused, by the way. So I should clarify that there was this still never quite explained FOIA request that went through to the State Department requesting documents pertaining to the resurrection chamber of Gilgamesh, the location of his body and the location of the buried Nephilim. Who are we talking about? Who are we speaking about when we refer to these people, the fallen angels? Guys, I am telling you, and this is not a part of Catholic canon, but you are allowed to read it, and you should read it. I read it on a plane. I don't even know what was going through my mind where I decided I needed to read the Book of Enoch. I think it is so important to read the Book of Enoch, okay? To read about the fallen angels. That this is your real history. I'm sorry to tell you guys, you're not a dinosaur, okay?
You're not a dinosaur. Okay. Core, thanks for the super chat. What is her call to action here? Is waking up to supposed to motivate us to find Nimrod? I have no fucking idea what Candace is talking about. I truly and sincerely have no fucking idea what Candace is talking about, but maybe she'll elaborate a little bit more.
You weren't a dinosaur. You're not just like floating. Thank you, Katy Perry, but you're not like a plastic bag floating through the wind. I didn't really ever find that line to be relatable at all. I've never felt that way. This is all very real, and the elites have held on to this. They destroy history because they don't want you to know this. They envision a world like Nimrod, one world government. They are going to be the gods. You will have no sense of where you come from. You will have no sense of your history, and your souls will be completely perverted and corrupted by them. That is what they are doing. So people always ask why I'm always so happy and so positive. How is it possible that the Epstein files can drop and I maintain a happy attitude? In the comments yesterday, I saw this of like, well, what do we do? What do we do now that we know this is real and they're practicing this? Well, you have to also consider the other thing. They're doing this because God is real. That I feel like that's like the best message ever. How could you not be happy recognizing that they are just betting against God like they always do? These people want to recreate Babylon. Okay.
Okay, Candace. Okay. Chevelle, thanks for the super chat. Well, when they bring back mental hospitals, old Candace here automatically has a reservation for a room with a padded view. I mean, I'm not saying that Candace's husband needs to stage an intervention, but perhaps Candace's husband should have a word. Perhaps Candace's husband, I know that Candace is married to a white British aristocrat who kind of looks like he's gay, but like, perhaps Candace's husband needs to start taking responsibility for the situation that is perpetuating in his own household. I mean, to be fair, if he hasn't taken responsibility for this yet, like, Candace is literally being sued by a foreign leader for saying crazy shit on the internet. If the husband hasn't stepped in already, I mean, I just don't, like, how much more needs to be done?
This is the story of Hollywood Babylon. Read the books. They have always been obsessed with this, but who are they contending with? God. And I feel like many people, myself included, go through a period where you wonder, and that's intentional, of course, like I said, because they've stripped our true history.
Hang on, her husband needs to take away her microphone for start. He does. He needs to step in. He needs to say, honey, we're going to take a break. We're going to go. Here's what they need to do. They need to go rent one of those big over the ocean villas in Indonesia for a little while. He's a British fucking heir. He has all this money. They need to go and spend like a month in Indonesia. They can take their kids in one of those big overwater villas where Candace doesn't have access to the internet. And she needs a rest. Put her in a fucking luxury thing with a giant ocean around her so she can't cause any problems. No internet access. Not like she has to have a boat to leave the fucking thing so she can't get away. That's what he needs to do. That's what he needs to do. Thanks so much, Prita, for the super chat. Plague Dr. McCarthy, McCarlinism, Spy Streams, Purses, Beer. That's it. That's the super chat. These things get me through the days. They get me through the days too, Prita. I do appreciate the super chat. Thanks so much. Batty girl Rachel, anyone thinks she sounds a bit like Tucker? Not the content so much as the method of delivery, though this does remind me a bit of a demon attack. Candace is definitely getting possessed by something. I think that's for sure.
And we're not even where we're supposed to be. Like, we're in America. How did we get here? We know nothing about ourselves. And you go through this period where you question whether or not God's real. And I certainly thought, no. Well, coming out of high school, all of that's just like my grandparents were into that. That's the old world. We're the cool world. And then you get to an age and you get to a point where you recognize, oh yeah, God's definitely real. And we've been asleep. We've been the muggles. They know he's real. And you want to spell the end of this satanic reign, everything that they have been doing and the blood that they have been shedding. It's our awakening. It's our awareness. So you should be happy. You should be encouraged. This stuff shouldn't scare you. You should be happy to know that this isn't it. And the reason why they want people to be selfish, the reason why they want us to be atheist, why they have been so intentional about making sure they fill us with nonsense and junk and no sense of true history, why they protect the field of archaeology.
Yo, Chevelle, thanks for becoming a member of the channel, Chevelle. Really do appreciate it. Welcome to the cult. Your life is over. You'll never see the world the same way again. And, everyone's going to hate what you have to say. But, welcome. You'll have friends during the apocalypse and it'll be awesome.
They don't ever want us to be the ones to find something and learn something about history that's real. The reason that they're doing all that is because then they can get you to trade your soul. Like if you really believe that all you had was 80 years and there was nothing else beyond this, like they want you to believe, then you would sell your soul to the devil for money. That's what a lot of people are doing. But when you suddenly go, oh wait, there's more. Actually, I'm a soul and I am an eternal soul. Then you go, okay, well, I'm not going to do a deal for $7,000 to support murdering children in Gaza. It's a happy message, I'm telling you guys. But read the Book of Enoch if you have not read it and learn about the fallen angels. It is incredible. Learn about your true history. Anyways, I wanted to share that with you because I was just, I can't believe that about Iraq. People asking, what's the obsession with Iran?
What's fuck does this have to do with anything?
I think a lot bigger. I don't know what the obsession is, but I'm inclined to think a lot bigger. We'll take a brief break before I tell you about some
no commercial, Candace. No commercial.
Right there. And because I'm not, like I said, like a plastic bag flowing through the wind, and I'm now aware of history and I believe in God, and I obviously know these people are satanic, it gives new meaning to this sort of military cult, because that is also a corollary that I have built. It's like constantly the military, so much involvement, even in the Charlie Kirk story, like just everywhere. I said, I don't know when Turning Point just became a literal military operation, but indeed it did. All these people with very strong ties to the military, his wife included, right? Her mother in particular. I want to speak about Erica's alibi on September 10th. And I'm going to put it out there that I do not believe it. I do not believe we are being told the truth.
No kidding.
Regarding her alibi. I have, at least I can say, I guess the best way to say it.
Guys, I know we're all shocked at this revelation that Candace would doubt the official story. This has literally never happened before in the history. Am I the queen of the fucking freeze frame, or am I the queen of the fucking freeze frame? Like, that is... Hang on. I'm just going to take a picture and I'm just going to save this for later. I'm just going to make sure this is uploaded into my Canva. And I'm just going to save that for later. because who knows when we might find that freeze frame useful. How much more can one freeze frame do, guys? How much more can one freeze frame do?
I now officially have some serious questions pertaining to her alibi. And these question marks are really regarding her mother, Lori France Faye. I have been working through Erica's life, and when you start to do that and build a timeline, it inevitably leads you to her mother, who I believe is very shady. She has a number of LLCs, and when I say a number, I mean it's almost incalculable, the amount of LLCs, trying to figure out what exactly this does, the technology, connections from France to Arizona to Cincinnati to Massachusetts. And I realized something about her mother. First and foremost, I told you that when we met, that was the only time that I sensed very strong emotion from her was in mentioning her mother. But I do realize now that it seems to me to be an intentional effort to protect Erica's mother throughout this entire thing. Before, like, regarding even September 10th. Leading up to September 10th, Erica did something that it's unusual. It was unusual in terms of the manner in which Erica normally posts. She does not typically post her mother. She is private about her mother. She's always been very private about her mother, actually. If you ask people at Turning Point USA, they don't know her mother, despite the fact that her mother sits on the board of companies related to Turning Point USA, despite the fact that her mother is involved with sort of the geofencing and things of that nature. What is that specific company called? Superfeed Technologies. Despite the fact that her mother was, present next to Erica in 2015 when she was standing behind Trump, they don't know Erica's mother. Superfeed Technologies, Tyler Boyer knows her, but she kind of keeps her in the background. So it was unusual, and I can tell you exactly how unusual. Erica had not posted anything about her mom since 2022. Then, despite the last post being in April of 2022 on Mother's Day, she did a post for her mother, I believe it was Mother's Day. Fast forward to 2025, and she moves on September 7th, just 3 days before Charlie dies. She doesn't just post her mother, she posts her mother in an incredibly vulnerable position. Her mother looks to be very sick, and she posts, "I wanted to make sure that you were the first. And if you're looking at this, you're glancing at this, it's a countdown of some description." And she says 10 days until September 16th. Now, we don't know what that 10-day countdown was pertaining to, because obviously things changed. In fact, September 16th is actually when she hosted her first Zoom call with as the new CEO and chairman.
Now I will say this. I did see a clip of that Zoom call. Another great Candace freeze frame. I'm so fucking good at this. I did see that Zoom call with Erica Kirk, and that was fucking weird. That Zoom call with Erica Kirk, if you guys haven't seen it, it was weird and creepy. And just because I think Candace is insane doesn't mean I trust Erica Kirk. I will say that. I think the whole thing with Erica Kirk is really weird. And yes, everyone mourns differently. And no, I don't want to attack a grieving widow and all that stuff. And I'm not going to go on and on and on about it. I'm an organizational psychologist. I found that to be a very, very odd approach.
But I'm sure there was some other plan that was there. Again, unusual even for people who are private on Instagram. I mean, even for people who are very public, sharing everything, who overshare on Instagram, you don't want to post someone in such a vulnerable position. Like, that's not how you want to use Instagram. This is not her and Charlie. When it comes to their private life, they're actually exceedingly private. You don't see photos of their children. So this was new. This was different. This was exceptional, I think, is something that we can say. We fast forward just a few days to September 10th, and we learn, one of the people that told us this was the New York Times, that on September 10th, Erica was at the hospital while her mother was receiving treatments. Now, that hospital word came from the New York Times. It was not a direct quotation from Erica, but they said that she was in the hospital when Mikey McCoy called her, quote unquote, within seconds. We later learned that actually that phone call did not come in within seconds. Actually, Mikey called his wife first. So much for that training that Charlie allegedly gave him. this is what you do immediately, walk away and call your wife and then call Erica 3 minutes later, 3+ minutes later, and then add Erica to the line while your wife is on the phone. I'm not really buying that, but okay.
Weird.
We know that they had a very brief call, a couple of minutes, and then we are told that she left her mother, who was receiving a medical treatment, and then she collapsed in the parking lot. Now, I got suddenly interested in this narrative for a couple of reasons, all because I then realized her mother was used again in an alibi when I was contacting Justin Strife, trying to figure out what Erica was.
We got a super chat from Little Miss. No, Karlyn, we are going to get beer and popcorn and then tell you afterwards we love you still. Yeah, okay. Thanks, Little Miss. I appreciate it.
Doing on September 8th, just wanting some sort of an alibi, and it kept getting delayed. And I was told that her mother was very, very sick and that was the reason why, and that she was spending her days in the hospital with her mother. I can confirm that the message that he sent me, certainly the lighting does not look like she is in a hospital. It looks like she's where she is there, which is at her apartment building. And also what I can now confirm to you for a fact is that the mother was receiving treatment not at a hospital, but at a
maybe she just needs some new handbags.
Holistic clinic, if you will. And again, this is one of those situations where you go, you wouldn't normally speak about the health of somebody's mother, but you're putting us in the casket with Charlie. We have a right to ask where he's buried. You're going to put us in this very vulnerable position with your mother. I guess it's okay for us to discuss your mother's illnesses, because this was a post, right? I would never, ever, ever, ever post this. I find that to be, again, I also wouldn't post somebody in a casket, but different strokes for different folks. What is interesting to me
is this the argument that Candace is making? Like, is this seriously the argument that we're going to ascend to over the next several episodes? You see, Karlyn, Charlie was assassinated because he knew about the plot to invade Iraq to retrieve the body of Nimrod / Gilgamesh in order to open the Stargate to bring in the Antichrist. Is that seriously the argument that Candace is making? Are you being real, or are you making a funny? Chevelle, thanks for the $10 super chat. I really do appreciate it. It's like she's playing her own version of the game Clue every day and then reports on it. That's so real. It's the lizard people in the kitchen with the Harry Potter wand. Just wait till tomorrow. It'll be different. So real, Chevelle. It's kind of like, it's like, what the fuck? What is that game, that party game that people play? The really famous one? It's kind of like that. You just like pick several cards and you put them together, and she does the same thing every day. What the fuck is the name of that party game that people play that has all the expansion decks? Someone knows what I'm fucking talking about. And you put all the cards together and what the fuck is the name of that game? This is going to drive me crazy. Someone knows the name of this game. We're not continuing with this video until someone tells me that. Cards Against Humanity. Thank you. Fucking hell. Cards Against Humanity. Candace is playing a non-stop perpetual game of Cards Against Humanity where she's just messing around with the cards and putting different shit together on different days.
As I have known for a while, she's not lying about her mother having Lyme disease. That's what her mother has. I know this because I talked to Charlie about this. Charlie, once upon a time, he and I spoke extensively about how he was flying out her mother to do treatments for Lyme disease overseas because there was better treatment in Europe, options available. Bella Hadid posts a lot about this. Her, and I think her brother as well, have Lyme disease. And she does sometimes, she goes overseas and she posts about different medical treatments that they have available in Europe. So I was aware that her mother had Lyme disease. That totally passed the test for me. But I think the reason why we were sort of given this kind of nondescript thing and we were led to believe that she was in a hospital was because then you wouldn't ask the next natural question, which is, why didn't she go with Erica to Utah? Like, you're with your mom when you hit the news. Why not instantly go with your daughter to Utah? So we were led to believe that she was in a condition where she could not do this. I find that to be interesting, especially because I have learned, and I believe this is accurate, that on September 8th, we can pull up the timeline here, that Charlie took Erica's mother for a treatment for Lyme disease at a clinic. I have the address, the name of the clinic. I'm not going to be publishing that because I don't think that that's relevant at this time. But it makes September 8th really interesting because I am told that these treatments, and again, these are holistic treatments that you can go to at a center. There's all sorts of things that you can get done now for Lyme disease and other diseases. I am told that these treatments last between 1 to 2 hours. Okay. 1 on the short end, then up to 2 hours. And yeah, you could, if you wanted, get an intense treatment on the 8th, followed by on the 10th, 2 days later. So I don't need to question that narrative. But I am starting to look at Charlie's schedule because Charlie came back from.
Hey, thanks for the super chat, Grim. She's preparing an insanity defense. That's actually. Is Candace preparing an insanity defense for the Macron lawsuit? I'm still so excited about that lawsuit. I can't wait for that lawsuit to happen. It's going to be so spectacular. It'll be content for days. What am I drinking? Coffee. Nothing fun, at least for the moment. I might get a beer in a little bit, but I'm good with coffee for the moment. Thanks for the super chat. Appreciate it.
Korea and Tokyo, his trip, very late, almost early morning on September 8th, very late on the 7th. We know when he landed into California and then continued on to Arizona. So I'm assuming he slept. And then we know that he's at home when he appears in his home studio for the Charlie Kirk show. He does not go to the office on this day, and we're going to have to fit him into taking Lori to a treatment center. This also makes me think, as I had mentioned the other day, that Erica was not around on the 8th because of Frank Turek's statement, where he says Charlie was dealing with the kids. I can't find a single person in this complex that they live that can verify that they saw Erica on this day. And they know her. They verified they saw her on the 9th, right? They didn't see her on the 8th. Okay. Now we have Charlie. Why would Charlie go? Okay. She says they were super close. I would assume that if Erica was available, Erica might have taken her
I feel like I need
to this treatment, right? This 1 to 2 hour treatment. And it puts us in this window of, if we account for driving time, this treatment having to have taken place between 12 and 3:30. And if it's a long treatment, this is the gap that we're putting this in, because otherwise it's not possible. We have everything else put into this timeline, and these things again are verifiable. Again, that Erica says that she made Charlie dinner. That has been the alibi for Fort Huachuca. I have questions about that. I have a lot of questions about that particular timeline and whether or not she was indeed at home making him dinner. It is pointing to the possibility that Erica was just not there on the 8th at all. And the way in which her mother was again used to sort of guilt us away from asking questions. When I was asking her for Huachuca, she's with her mom, until she then popped up, which she wouldn't have had this happen. And then I texted and I said, you told me that she's like not available at all because she's with her mom and her mom's like in a hospital, but she's actually at a basketball game because a fan caught Erica at a basketball game. And then it was like, oh yeah. Was it a football game, Skylar? A football game. And then it was like, oh, okay. You've been asking for this Fort Huachuca thing, blah, blah, blah. And then they gave me something that I didn't ask for. Maybe I wasn't clear, but across weeks, I'm just trying to get a basic alibi for September 8th. And I'm just kind of getting pushed around. And then finally they give me something, and a couple of days later, they send me a cease and desist, and they mention Fort Huachuca. I have questions. I think that
so many fucking
we
questions,
were
Candace.
being emotionally manipulated not to ask questions about her mother, who, if she is extraordinarily sick, and I'm not doubting, and like I said, I know that she has Lyme disease. That's a fact.
Wow.
And I know that there are varying levels and stages of Lyme disease as a fact. I'm not doubting any of that. I am saying that I feel we have been intentionally given that story so that nobody could possibly touch it. Like that post there, to me, feels a little bit manipulative. I can't explain it.
Candace.
It's not her usual posting.
Okay, listen. I think people should be able to ask whatever fucking questions they want to ask. I have no problem with people asking questions about whatever topic they want to ask questions about. But Candace, it's just creepy and underhanded and, quite frankly, really toxic to go after someone's sick mother. Now, I can understand being skeptical of Erica Kirk. I concur with that. I also think that there is a time and a place to have these conversations, and perhaps they could have waited for things to unfold. But like, whatever. But like, to take it to the point where you're like going after someone's mother, and then you're like, I just don't understand why I can't go after someone's mother. I mean, you can, Candace. You can do whatever the fuck you want. But like, just because you can doesn't mean you should. And it doesn't mean that, I don't know, it's an appropriate thing to do, or like that a rational person would say the logical thing to do in this situation is go after someone's sick mother and then say, I'm just asking questions. I don't know why we can't just ask questions. You can. You can ask whatever fucking questions you want. Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
She doesn't post that kind of stuff. It's similar to the Charlie in the casket, right? And then suddenly like, can I have anything for myself when people ask a question like, hey, actually, where did you bury him? And then suddenly it's like, how dare you intrude upon where Charlie's body is? What will you literally put us in the casket with like your chief fundraiser person to make money? So it's we're only allowed to ask questions if money is going to be made. I don't think it works like that. It doesn't work like that, actually. So I just wanted to raise that, and I have some more leads that I'm going to prod, but I'm going to put out there that I am having trouble confirming this story. And I'm wondering why that is. So if you have information.
Because maybe it's none of your fucking business, Candace.
And I do know the names of 2 different clinics, by the way, because they were 2 different clinics. The one on the 10th versus the one on the 8th. If you have any information.
Guys, I don't have this story confirmed, but I just have a hunch. I have a hunch that this is the right thing to do. And so I'm going to go after someone's mother on the internet, someone's sick fucking mother on the internet, to millions of viewers. And then at the end of the episode say, I don't really have confirmation on this. And if anyone else can send me some anonymous tips to my email to try to ingratiate themselves to me, to tell me what I want to hear, like you guys are welcome to reach out to me. It's like, what the fuck? Candace needs to get sued. Like, come on, man.
Please email us more tips at CandaceOwens.com as we begin to put the pieces together in what may be a slippery alibi. It could be people were told what to say, what to do. People were at certain places, but something is not right. Something is really not right. We're going to get to the truth. We will get to the truth. Christ is king, as we say. And it's perfect time for me to announce, by the way, that I will be speaking. I actually have not spoken in a while publicly. I've been working on my podcast because I was at war with Zionists. But I will be speaking at the Catholics for Catholics conference on March 19th in Washington, D.C.
That's very nice, Candace. That's very nice. Let's go to the next episode. The Secret Lives of Scheming Wives. And actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to start this episode, and then I'm going to go get a drink. I'm going to go downstairs. I'm going to say hi to my husband. I'm going to get a beer, and I will be right back. I'm going to start this and let this play. We got protest coverage above my head. That is outside the governor's mansion in Minneapolis. We are watching Candace slowly lose her fucking mind on the internet. And here's the next episode, and I will be right back.
Are getting released and people are looking up, and by people I mean the mainstream media. They're willing to accept that maybe I was telling the truth. He's also married to a dude because he's gay, so that makes sense. But I guess we'll wait for the next email dump for the reliably dishonest press is prepared to admit that part too. What is up with these political unions? I have questions. This brings me to Erica Kirk. Upon further information, I no longer believe that she was with her mother on the morning of September 10th. And I am going to tell you guys why that is. Welcome back to Candace. There are so many directions that we could run into with the Epstein emails, but there's something that popped up that is very interesting to me. The 23andMe emails, the elites sending one another kits. Jeffrey Epstein, I'll show you two of them. First and foremost to Woody Allen. Woody Allen, that entire background story that Hollywood just accepts him is absolutely crazy to me. I'm glad that that is being relitigated regarding what he did to his own child when she was 7. But allegedly, I'll say allegedly. But look at this email that Jeffrey Epstein authored to Woody. It says, the 23andMe kits arrived and will be delivered to Woody and Soon-Yi to their home today. So I don't know who this actually went to, but he was getting this kit out to Woody Allen. And there's another email, this time to, who is this? They're always blocking out the names, but it says, hi, Sultan, can you please tell me who James Miller is? He is who you have billed the 30 kits to. Also, do I understand the shipping address is Jeffrey's home at 9 East 71st Street? We're talking about 23andMe kits. Do you guys remember that trend, by the way? For some reason, they came out and they told everybody, this is going to be amazing. Don't you want to know?
All right, I'm back. Breaking news. I have beer. The beer I will be partaking in, there's no vote. I only picked one. This is a peanut butter and jelly sour ale that does actually taste like peanut butter and jelly. Grape jelly, to be specific. It is from Kettlehead Brewing Company. Who would steal 30 snack lunches? This beer is fucking awesome.
Where you're from, as if they don't know where we're from. They're the ones that are trafficking people all over the world. We can help you. Just send us your DNA. And a lot of people did it. A lot of my friends did it. I was already like, seems a little suspect. It's a bit suspicious. I'm not going to do it at all. Well, interestingly enough, that particular project, 23andMe, or that particular business,
it's great.
Also
juice.
Began shortly following our invasion into Iraq. I'll tell you why this matters, okay? So we invaded, as I mentioned yesterday, mid-2003, and we extracted Gilgamesh's tomb, roughly 2 years later.
Right. Gilgamesh.
Well, in 2005, the now bankrupt company, 23andMe, came together where people began sending in those DNA kits to figure out their ancestry. I want you to park that in your mind as we revisit our military's strange efforts in the Middle East. I mentioned to you guys this man named Rob Skiba yesterday. He wrote a book entitled Babylon Rising. This came to me from an email tip. It was immediately interesting. Well, this man, it is alleged, was actually...
You know what I take seriously? Anytime someone DMs me on Twitter and they're like, Karlyn, you should read this crazy conspiracy theory book. I totally take it seriously every single time someone tries to get me to read a crazy conspiracy theory book.
Actually murdered for some of the research and the pieces that he were putting together because he was perhaps getting too close to the ultimate project of the elites. By the way, his son emailed me yesterday thanking me for bringing up his father and grateful that his father's work is still carrying on. I've not had time to email him back, but I did receive that email and I know that you are watching, and I'm also grateful that the work that your father did is getting new meaning. Anyway, I started watching
really
this speech that his father, Rob Skiba, gave on the topic of his book, Babylon Rising. I explained to you that all of the elites are obsessed with Babylon, and any research that I do, it's all about Babylon, Babylon, Babylon. And I want to share to you some of these clips. It's Rob Skiba, and he's speaking about his book. Now, to tee this up, let's just get into a little bit of the history. He is positing a lot about the Tower of Babel. Obviously, we know this was built up, that this angered God. And Rob Skiba posits that it wasn't actually the height of the tower that was problematic. He believes that, or this is a theory, so don't be offended. Please don't send me emails about, whoa, this is not the teaching, this is not the doctrine. We're trying to not get to...
23andMe was a plot to track down the Nephilim genes to recreate the bodies of the reef. I don't know how to say that word. Okay. Okay, we've gone off the deep end. This is actually... Bro, I like a good conspiracy theory as much as the next person, but this is like actual fucking insanity. How the fuck is Candace's husband not stepping in? Rephaim. Okay.
What is true or what you believe. We are trying to actually get to what the elites believe. Okay, we actually don't believe we should harm children. So if we're speaking about the elites' belief, you don't have to send me a lecture about what's wrong about it. The entire purpose of this podcast is to tell you that the elites are satanic. Anyway, back to Nimrod building this Tower of Babel. Well, Rob Skiba posits, he's like, I don't think it was because the tower was high. We know that he built this to get back to heaven. He thinks that actually this tower that was being built was a technology because they wanted to get back into the heavenly realm. Now, if you have read Gilgamesh, there was a lot of astrotheology that's in it. Stargates. We know that the elites worship stars. We've covered that extensively. Well, in this particular clip, you're going to see Rob Skiba discuss the book.
Stargate. I was right. This is not a fucking Stargate.
Of Enoch, the one that I mentioned to you, going back to the beginning, the story of fallen angels. And he brings up something that is of geographical interest. Take a listen.
There are extra biblical texts, like the Book of Enoch and others, that go into more detail about what happened in Genesis 6. The Book of Enoch says that 200 fallen angels, a class of angels known as the Watchers, landed in this location right here. This is the center of a mountain range in southern Lebanon known as Mount Hermon. Now keep your eye right there as the camera pulls back and just kind of look at the outline of the topography right there. It's very interesting that it actually forms the shape of a goat. And one of the worst of the fallen angels was one by the name of Azazel. And Azazel is always associated with the goat. And you see that in Leviticus chapter 16. The scapegoat is in reference to Azazel. I find it interesting that the land itself actually kind of looks like a goat head. This gentleman depicted here is David Flynn. He recently passed away, but he turned the world upside down with some of his research. And he was able to figure out that location is 33.33 degrees north by 33.33 degrees east from the Paris prime meridian. Very interesting. What's 1/3 of 100? 33.3333%, right? How interesting that the fallen angels that participated in what I call the Genesis 6 experiment landed on the geographical location that fits their number on the crosshairs of 33.33. Something else David Flynn pointed out is that if you put a little marker there, and you can do this for yourself, that what I showed you there is from Google Earth. I did it for myself to check it out. But you can put a marker there and then draw a line from there to the Paris prime meridian. We go by Greenwich today, but originally it was the Paris was kind of the standard for a long time there. And that is, in the occult, is referred to as the devil's line.
So something that is a fact is
I am a psychologist in real life. I have a fucking PhD in psychology. Do you guys know that? I have a PhD in psychology. What I have no idea how to diagnose this problem. I have no idea what has snapped in Candace's brain. I only had to take one neuropsychology class. I have no idea what has snapped in Candace's brain to drive her down this road, but this is, I don't know what karma Candace is working out with this, but this is actually fucking insane. Another great Candace freeze frame, by the way. Thanks so much for the super chat, Suzanne. We get goat's head thorns in Arizona. Coincidence? Yeah, exactly. Is that next Candace is going to be like, Charlie Kirk lived in Arizona. Do you know what else is in Arizona? Goat's head thorns are in Arizona. Do you think that's a coincidence? Was someone a Capricorn in this? Because guess what the symbol of the Capricorn is, guys? The goat.
That the elites are obsessed with goat heads, Baal worship. None of this is a conspiracy. Jeffrey Epstein worked for the Rothschilds. You were looking at a picture of the Rothschilds at their surrealist ball. The more research you do, you just sort of see this appearance over and over again of goat heads. Even if you get into Pan worship, Dionysus, all of these, occult, orgiastic cults that they've had since the beginning of time, so to speak. And just to give you guys a biblical recap, I should never assume. I know a lot of people are kind of now just going to church or just starting to pick up a Bible. So I can back this up for you. The story of man, just so you guys know, you're not an ape. You can throw away that chart. The biblical recap here: Satan is struck down by the archangel Saint Michael after a battle of good versus evil in heaven, because Satan is leading this rebellion against God. The rebellion fails. He is obviously expelled. And as a result, he no longer has access to God. This is our true history, our true heritage. This is what actually happened. Like I said, you're not a monkey. That middle school chart of, oh, here's what happened. And then you were like, oh, the Australopithecus. And then it was a Homo sapien. That's just nonsense, quote unquote, science. Now, these fallen angels, so to speak, also known as demons, then mate with humans. They produce Nephilim, giants, and their demonic pursuit never actually ends. They are still seeking to triumph God. So that enters in the story of Nimrod and him building this Tower of Babel as a return to heaven. So like I said, the biblical story is that as Nimrod is constructing this tower, God confuses language amongst the people, forcing them to abandon the project because they can't communicate with one another. So can't speak, we can't build this tower. So Ron Skiba's theory, if you're suspending, again, theological debate for a moment, I'm just telling you because we're looking into what he is saying the elites are after. His theory is that at the moment that occurred, once languages were confused, Nimrod became known as different names: Baal, Tammuz, Gilgamesh, and like I said, he is positing this. You can see this whole list: Dionysus, Bacchus. Yes, there is synergy between those cults and the practices, without question, historically speaking. Now, he's discussing this because he believes that the elites view Nimrod and or Gilgamesh as the Antichrist that they are working to try to resurrect for exactly that reason. And he reminds audiences that Gilgamesh, per the epic, was 2/3 God and 1/3 man. Take a listen. Super interesting.
Yeah, Gilgamesh is said to be part God, part man.
Super interesting.
Jesus is God and man, right? Well, there's a similarity there. The epic of Gilgamesh.
Gilgamesh was God and man. Jesus was also God and man. Coincidence? Where the fuck is Amalek? Paging Amalek. Paging Amalek. Come in, Amalek. I'm going to DM him right now.
Gilgamesh says that he was 1/3 man and 2/3 God. What's 1/3 of 100? 33.33%. What's 2/3? 66.6%. Interesting. And the 1/3 part of man, we are carbon-based organisms, right? The carbon molecule has 6 electrons, 6 neutrons, 6 protons. So just by default, the number of man would be 666 by virtue of the carbon molecule. But this guy's got 6s all over him. Look up CERN. It's a very interesting facility. Look at this thing. The thing's huge. It's the Hadron Super Collider. Their stated objective is to recreate the Big Bang. Now, I don't believe in evolution myself, but I remember them teaching me evolution in school, and they said we got here from a Big Bang, right? So if we got here according to the way you think, and you want to, by a Big Bang, and you want to recreate the Big Bang, that can't be a good thing. They're trying to find the God particle. You know, what in the world are these guys doing? Look at.
Hey, you know what's so much more reasonable is to say that you've got the tomb of fucking Gilgamesh and you found a Stargate, and Charlie Kirk knew about the Stargate and the Gilgamesh by which you guys were going to raise the Antichrist. That's totally reason. I need an Amalek interpretation on what the fuck is going on here. I was not expecting this. I thought we were going to get Candace whining about Erica Kirk and saying evil things about Erica Kirk, and I was going to be mean to Candace because she was shit-talking Erica Kirk. That was what I thought was going to happen on this episode, and instead, I fucking need a theological scholar to come and inform me what the fuck Candace is even talking about.
Their logo looks like 3 6s on top of each other. And everybody wants to talk about the separation of science and religion, right? They're usually, it seems like they're like this, right? You know, they're diametrically opposed. Well, it's interesting that all these scientists and people working over there on CERN decide to put the religious statue of the Hindu god Shiva outside the front door.
Yep, real interesting.
Shiva is the god of destruction. They put the god of destruction, a huge statue dancing, looks like it's coming through a portal.
Like I said, you guys, please don't email me about whether or not you agree with him presenting this. Last time when I mentioned the Shiva Dionysus thing, people were like, no, Shiva is not Dionysus. There's so many books on that say that that's what it is. And they are written by people that are Hindu. You guys can disagree amongst yourselves. I am just fascinated trying to get to the bottom of what it is that the elites believe. And it is just a fact that they do have that Shiva structure at CERN. CERN is obviously evil. I showed you guys the video of what they were doing, this ritual. These are quote unquote scientists that are dressed up in robes, stabbing someone, and they never gave an answer for this. Somebody caught them, recorded this, and they're like, oh, that was a joke. No further questions, no further answers. Shut this down. Something much deeper is going on here, something much more demonic. And the reason why I find this to be fascinating is because it's everything that I have learned studying Sigmund Freud. It's all coming together. I told you Sigmund Freud was a Satanist. He created a social science. You're talking about that blending of science and religion. You think it's different. It's not. Sigmund Freud is explicit that they create this science to mask their religion. Their religion consists of ritualistic sacrifice, harming innocent children. But if you say, I'm a doctor, I'm an expert, then suddenly, okay, people go, oh, okay, it's not that. This is not some demonic faith. Essentially, what Sigmund Freud is famous for is developing a breakthrough strategy for the elites. When they want to accomplish something from a religious perspective, all they have to do is present it to the public as a scientific breakthrough. Go back to COVID, right? Oh, the stay at home, save lives. What were they actually doing? We don't know what they were doing. We know what they weren't doing. They weren't creating a vaccine that guarded you against COVID. Roll up your sleeves. Let us inject you. What were they actually injecting into people's arms? We're the experts. Dr. Fauci, we're experts. It's all it takes. And people will suddenly begin to listen to these people and follow them as though they were religious leaders. So this brings me back to a 23andMe.
Black guy in Minneapolis.
If you follow that train of thought that they are actually doing things from a religious angle, a demonic angle, but they're presenting it as a science. What was this mass campaign to effectively collect everybody on Earth's DNA by saying, oh, look, we're going to help you with your ancestry? Well, take a listen to what Ron Skiba says.
2003, the body of Gilgamesh was found in the desert of Iraq. And I heard a recent interview with Tom Horn and Steve Quayle talking on Omega Man Radio. I'm just going to play a snippet of their radio show. This is what they had to say about this find.
Imagine the startling proposition that the Nephilim, the giants, the mighty men of old, the gods and children of the Watchers, could somehow rise up, could somehow be reconstituted inside of a body. And of course, I've discussed with you before my theory that one of the greatest legends in history could be a record of that having actually happened. And I'm referring to Nimrod, who some scholars also identify as Gilgamesh of Sumerian.
Thanks for the super chat, Batty Girl Rachel. So Francis Bacon was a Satanist. Wasn't he the one credited for the scientific method? I don't know. I don't even know what to say. Don't even know. I bet Amalek does know all about this and he's not here. And it's very upsetting.
Fame, Apollo of Greek fame, Osiris of Egyptian fame. And this Gilgamesh was a giant who a lot of people didn't even believe was anything more than myth until his grave marker was found a few years back. And then, according to some people, the military swooped in and took possession and control of that dig.
Hey, Tom, I want to interject something. I talked to a special operations general who validated that, and his words were he was in a state of remarkable preservation, okay? He said they have Gilgamesh's remains. So if they have Gilgamesh and he is Nimrod, they got it. And the whole point was to extract the DNA. And I've also been told that the whole point, and this is germane to what we're talking about, of the Human Genome Project is to locate specific genetic markers for the
Amalek's silence is literally violence. Amalek needs to be here at all times to answer important biblical questions. I know I should. I should text Adam right now. I'm gonna text Adam and be like, "Where the fuck is Amalek?" And Adam's gonna be like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" I should call Adam Green and be like, "Adam, we need Amalek to come to the stream right now, and we can't find him. Do you know where he is, Adam?" Adam would be deeply appreciative of that, I think. And by the way, everyone should go buy Adam's book. Adam's book, The Jesus Deception, is finally out. I'm very excited for him. So everyone go buy Adam's book.
Embodied spirits to reanimate their host body that's brought back.
Interesting that the U.S. military started its military occupation phase of Iraq 1 month later. We all know we went into Iraq under false pretenses, right? They told us weapons of mass destruction, right? They said that we didn't find weapons of mass destruction, but I have a feeling we found the weapon of mass destruction.
Oh, yeah?
And we set up shop there immediately after that and established 500 military bases in the largest embassy of any other embassy on the entire planet.
I just cannot wrap my head around, how does Candace think this is a good idea to put on the internet? I can't wrap my head, has Candace just insulated herself so much? It looks like the protest is over. Has Candace just insulated herself from everyone so much that she really has no idea, and I mean no idea, that it is not the smartest thing in the world to put this out on the internet? Does Candace think this all sounds reasonable to normal people? Does she have too many people surrounding her just kissing her ass and telling her she's right all the time? And there's no one saying, Candace, maybe we should think about this, and maybe we should do a test audience or something to see what the reactions are. She seems completely committed and invested in it. And that is honestly the most terrifying part of all of this, because how does she think this is okay?
In Babylon. Interesting.
How crazy that I watched this last night and this morning, and I had no idea he said that. And I said that yesterday, maybe they were actually looking for the weapon of mass destruction. And this is almost the only thing that makes sense. We are constantly being lied to about what we are doing. What the heck are we doing talking about Greenland? What is going on right now? Why does it seem like the elites are running some race against time almost? What's going on in Ukraine, actually? I've heard that even that could be ancient in terms of what they are trying to get and what they are trying to find. We need to actually pay attention.
It's probably all very spiritual, Candace. Thank you, Malcolm, for the super chat. Dr. K, might your professional diagnosis of Candace be bizarre? I truly have no idea what's going on with Candace. I was an organizational psychologist, guys. Yeah, my PhD is in general psychology, but I practiced organizational psychology. So this was way out of my area of expertise. Just paying my entrance fees, I appreciate that. I think... honestly, I think this is Candace's narcissism, because I do think Candace is actually a narcissist. I don't say that in terms of she is a I don't say that in terms of an own. I actually think she has the disorder, and I think this is a manifestation of the narcissism.
Elites are focused on something that has nothing to do with what we are being sold. And I very much believe this, because we see Peter Thiel, who is dead focused on discussing the Antichrist all the time. Are we supposed to believe that he's a faithful Christian? What is his interest in the Antichrist? Why are they obsessed with wanting to create life artificially, right? This push and the marketing toward IVF. Yes, of course, it can be a sensitive subject because people turn to IVF because they can't have children. We are starting to see that the people that are creating this, it's not because they are wanting to help you have a child. It's because they seek to be the creators. One of the things that happens here, the template, is that as soon as you side with the devil, you can't create. You cannot create. You have to steal. You have to enslave. You have to steal, because you do not have any creativity within you. And so I fully believe that we need to start having and examining all of the wars of past, what was going on in Afghanistan, like I said, what's going on in Ukraine today, and look through the lens of what I believe these people are actually after. And it's very clear to me that they are on some demonic pursuit. So I wanted to show that to you before I get into this unbelievably explosive revelation that I have about Erica and her alibi.
Candace. Okay.
We'll be right back after a brief break.
Okay.
All right, you guys, thanks to you last
so
year.
Erica's alibi has to do with the body of Gilgamesh discovered in Iraq and a Stargate and okay. No commercial, Candace. No, you're definitely not getting a commercial for this shit.
Confirm Erica's story of September 10th. She said in the morning of September 10th, she was with her mother. Her mother was receiving a medical treatment, and she got the news when Mikey McCoy called her and collapsed in a parking lot. We don't really know what happens thereafter. Well, I'm kind of starting to put together the pieces. I figured out who Erica was with at the holistic clinic, and it surely further complicates matters for me. And foremost, just to address the minority of people who are still out there trying to psyop the public into believing that Erica has done absolutely nothing wrong and is unworthy of the public reaction that she is receiving. To those people, I would like to gently remind you that she is at the helm of an organization that raised $250 million in just a couple of months from basically a sympathizing public. The sympathy was rightfully garnered.
Thanks so much, Zeus, for the super chat. I really appreciate it.
After the horrific assassination of Charlie Kirk. Now she has been the CEO that is caught lying outright.
Thank God. Amalek, we were so worried. We were about to call Adam. Live on the stream and say, Adam, we need Amalek here now, and he's not answering. I'm sure Adam would have been thrilled with that too. I have been summoned. Gilgamesh has nothing to do with aliens. That is directly from Zachariah Sitchin, who is interesting but a fraud. The real red pill on Gilgamesh is what Genesis is based on. Have you been watching the Candace stuff? Do you know what she's on about? Can you explain all of this? Or have you successfully avoided this in the last several days? Yeah, thank God Amalek's here. He probably just popped in to put this in the chat and already left again. No, he can't call in. Well, thank you for showing up. I appreciate it.
Lying, and has also delivered some severe misrepresentations and put together this list of them so that you recognize that something is not right. Okay.
Yeah.
One, Superman neck. That was the beginning of this entire thing when the entire world snapped into the recognition that something was very wrong. Andrew Colvett.
Okay, Amalek, if you haven't watched it, here's the too long didn't read. Charlie was assassinated because he knew about a plot to invade Iraq to retrieve the body of Nimrod/Gilgamesh in order to open the Stargate to bring in the Antichrist. That is the too long didn't read of what Candace is saying. You can call in. You want to call in? Seriously? All right, I'll send you the link if you want to call in. Let's see. Invite guests to studio. I sent you the link so you can call in. This is going to be fun. Oh, looks like all the protest coverage is done anyway. This is perfect. This is perfect. Perfect timing. Yeah, Amalek is my favorite part too. It's okay. It's all right. I totally understand. We are waiting for Amalek to get his ass in the studio. We are waiting for Amalek. In the meantime, guys, please make sure to mount the like button for me. It looks like our protest coverage is done tonight. Even Portland Andy went offline. So if there's anything else that happens, of course, we will bring that up. All right, Amalek is here. Hello, what's going on? Can we hear you? Amalek, I can't hear you. What's going on? Where's your microphone?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. What's up?
Not much. I have been paying attention to this, and I've been laughing my ass off at it the whole time because I know exactly what she's getting it from. She's getting it from Stitchin, Zachariah Stitchin, and he has a book and this whole thing that's basically like it's a conspiracy theory that you could call. It's like this concept that the ancient Babylonians and the people in Iraq were using like Stargates, and it's this whole like ancient alien mythos. A lot of what I would call like ancient alien conspiracies come out of them. And this specifically what this is like basically from like 2004, I would say, to like 2014, all over message boards and everything like that, where these types of like conspiracy boards talking about this stuff. She's pulling it out of directly from those places. And the reason that this is so important to understand is because what Candace Owens is doing is, and if you go, you know who Alexander Dugin is?
Yeah.
Okay, if anybody goes to Alexander Dugin's Twitter and you see his newest article that he just posted, he is promoting all of this type of same stuff, okay? And for anyone who doesn't know who Alexander Dugin is, essentially he's like a philosopher or like a political thinker. He wrote a book called The Fourth Political Theory. I've read a lot of his books. I used to like Dugin, no longer do. I don't like him anymore because I actually kind of understand what he's doing. And essentially what he does, or what his purpose is he believes that the West has to fall for a multipolar world to kind of rise, right? So what that would be is like America only fucks around in America, Europe in Europe, Russia with Russia, China with China. And in order for that to happen, he thinks that essentially what has to happen is the West has to be induced into like chaos to fall, okay? So he wants the West to fall into chaos. So what he does, and what part of what his project has always been, and what Russian intelligence, FSB, has always done, is this like disinformation campaign. So like the liberals were right in that way, that there is like a Russian disinformation campaign. But what the Russian disinformation campaign is, it's not like any one particular ideology. It's not like it's trying to promote anything specifically. What it's trying to do is it's trying to promote just like general chaos and self-blame in the West, blaming our, saying, oh, our leaders are satanic and we deserve to be destroyed, and things like that. And things like the destruction of NATO and all the undermining NATO and all these things. Like that's the general purpose, is like chaos engineering. So this thing that you see where people go, oh, it's not the Zionists, they're not Jewish, they're not practicing Judaism. The Zionists are Frankists, or the Zionists are Satanists.
Oh, okay.
That is a Duginist line. Okay, that is a Russian conspiracy line. That is bullshit. That is disinformation. The people who are in Israel and the Zionists around the world who support Israel are like that because they worship the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Yahweh, not Satan. Okay, so it's a little complicated, but that's basically what's going on here, is that either Candace Owens is either getting this fed to her directly. I mean, this is old school Russian propaganda is what I would say. This is like textbook. That is what this is. That's where this is all coming from.
Do you think that like Russia is actually feeding this to Candace and she just is too dumb to realize it? This is the thing, is part of Russia's thing is that it's not about like quality or like the aim of propaganda. It's pure volume of propaganda. So they've flooded it everywhere to the point where it's like we're swimming in this stuff. So everyone just kind of like picks it up culturally. A good example of this, actually, one of the ones that I enjoy is like the Hyperborea edits. You know what I'm talking about? Like the Hyperborea meme and the white monster. It's like, you've seen. Okay, well, the Hyperborea edits, if you just look up what that is, like that comes from a lot of Russian sources, is where those originated online. So I actually so basically what I'm saying is like the culture of the internet in the right-wing sphere is like saturated with Russian conspiracy stuff. So whether she's pulling it from somebody and knowingly or whatever, the source, oh, it's a Russian person helping her, or whether she's just getting it through like osmosis of being in this sphere, it doesn't really matter, right? And a lot of the books she's reading in her book club, I'm familiar with these books. Adam and I were just talking about. Adam's in the chat too. Not Adam Green is in the chat as well.
Oh, what's up? Yeah. So that's what I would say is that's kind of where this is coming from. I think what Candace is, and hold on, I want to say something too about the Russian thing. When I say Russian, it's important to understand like how the global international like intelligence community works. Okay, it's not that what I would call it is like the Moscow, Tel Aviv, Miami, New York City axis, right? Where it's these people operate in all four of those or all three of those countries and all four of those cities, outside of governments, above governments. And that's really what Jeffrey Epstein was. It's not that he was like working for Israel or working for Russia or working for the United States. It's that he sat above and outside of those groups and acted like as a middleman between the various intelligence agencies and different like clandestine groups and things like that, organized crime and things like that. You know what I mean? That's what he was doing.
Okay.
But as far as like her stuff goes, she is going to continue to do this. She's going to just keep going off the conspiracy stuff. Of course she's going to continue.
She's been phenomenally successful at this and she's getting a lot of attention, but it's just like,
I just
don't get it.
It's like, the Weekly Inquirer kind of tabloid type thing.
The Weekly World News.
Yeah. That. Yeah. It's kind of like, this is like Bat Boy. Exactly. I was just going to say, if you know what Bat Boy is, it's just like it's like the Bat Boy or anything like that. It's basically like, these are like 4chan threads and what I would call like low quality information source books. And she's just eating them fully like it's just completely true. You know what I mean?
Why do you think she's doing this? Does she actually believe this?
Well, I mean, she's not a very smart person, I don't think. And also I think she just like recently got good at reading. So she's just like has no clue how to process new information.
Got good at reading.
I mean, it's obvious.
Probably,
right? Like,
yeah.
I mean, you're telling me she was reading in high school? Absolutely not. Right. So, and neither was I, by the way. So I'm not talking shit. Like, that's just the reality. When you first start reading, I don't know, she has like no way of discerning what is and is not true. But yeah, so like I said, I don't think it matters if it's like an intentional Russian op or not, but that is where this is coming from. That is where all of these talking points come from, these like Russian disinformation campaigns. And the purpose is that we like see ourselves as like deserving of self-destruction, which unfortunately is exactly what like the rabbis talk about every day, right? They just frame it differently. They talk about the fall of Edom and the rise of Jerusalem and the coming of the Mashiach and all that stuff, right? So, and the other thing too about Dugin is he's like an open Kabbalist. Like he's, talked about it quite often that he he thinks that I think his quote is the Kabbalah is like one of the crowning achievements of human thought or whatever. Whatever he said, something like that. So, he knows what he's doing, basically, is what I would say.
Okay.
He's kind of like a modern Rasputin.
Oh my God. Not Adam Green says Dugin promotes Abrahamic prophecies of end times wars and wants the West destroyed like anti-Edom Kabbalists, calls West antichrist and satanic like rabbis say Edom is satanic.
Yeah, it's not good, guys. Like, a lot of people on the right wing, they have this, a lot of people are just like reactionary and they see like what the left is doing or what liberals do, and they just take the opposite point, right? So a lot of people are like that on Ukraine. I was like that on Ukraine initially. I was basically like most of the people on the right wing, saying fuck Ukraine, fuck Zelensky, all that other stuff. But what's important to understand here is that both sides are bad. And in the same way we criticize Trump, we have to criticize Russia, because Russia is like just as controlled and their oligarchs are just as entrenched with Judaism as ours are, and maybe even more so, right? So they're, I've talked about it. Oh yeah, for sure. I talked about it before that like with you that like Chabad and all these other things with Trump and stuff like that, they're all Chabad up, like Chabaded up over there in Russia. And they're like and how I've talked about the Muslims play like the willing role of Ishmael, and Judaism plays the willing role of Jacob, and Christians play the willing role of Esau. I mean, the Russians are playing the willing role of Gog and Magog in the end times war, which is like this empire who comes from the north and white and it's part of this end times thing, like like Adam was just saying. So like that is the purpose of what's going on. So she's like, so think about how crazy this is. She's like whipping up middle-aged women who are sitting at home watching her, because that's like her audience, right? I'm guessing, mostly, right? So she's like whipping up middle-aged women into this like frenzy where they, you know what I mean? Like this like disinformation frenzy, so they can't even understand what's going on. It's kind of fucked up.
What if Russia just had like an entire team of people just dedicated to like feeding Candace Owens misinformation from like multiple different angles to get her to do this? Wouldn't that be funny?
I mean, yeah, it would be funny, but what's fucked up is like the way that this has worked out is they don't even need to. So many Americans have fallen for this bullshit.
Yeah,
I mean, I get it in my replies, I get it in my DMs constantly. Hey, I know you check into this stuff. Can you check this out? And it's like a 5-minute blurry video, and it's like, did you know that the Jews really are blood drinkers and blah 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 blah. And I like figure out where the first place this is posted, and it's posted on like a Russian forum or whatever. You know what I mean? Like that's how so many of these things come and go. Is that and it's easy for them too, like because right, like what I said is it's not about ideology. They don't want you to believe anything. They just want you to be as stupid and cause as much chaos as possible. You know, Russia supported BLM, for example, in the 2016 elections. They supported both Hillary Clinton and Trump, right? That's what the name of the game is over there, basically, is the most chaos is what they're trying to do.
Okay. Well, thank you for that explanation. Is there anything else you want to say on this topic?
No, you can play the show a little bit though. If you
want to hang out and watch?
Yeah, I'll hang out for a little bit. I'm waiting for my food to get here.
Oh, right on. Okay, let's keep going.
We heard the story, and she said that Andrew Colbert and the surgeon went rogue. That's not true. The reality is her and Andrew called the doctor together, three-way call, on the day of Charlie's funeral. And the Superman quote came from Erica. Okay, he didn't violate HIPAA, nor did I ever for a moment believe that he did. I could have maybe believed that Andrew Colbert went rogue tweeting something. I definitely did not believe that the surgeon just spoke to a PR agent without Erica's permission. Number two, she told us that Charlie did not text anyone the night before in fear for his life. That's what she told Glenn Beck. The reality, I have his phone. That never happened. The reality is that Charlie texted both Andrew Colbert and Dan Flood the night before, saying that he feared he was going to be killed after he was engaged in a discussion about him removing his support from Israel, and after he then had to have this call with a rabbi dead in the middle of the night while the rabbi was in Israel and Josh Hammer. And they're telling us he just wanted tips on how to debate. And then, of course, he got tips on how to debate and was super happy, but then said they're going to kill me. That all feels wrong and weird. Number three, even builds upon that lie, because then we were told, well, the reason for that is because Dan Flood and Andrew Colbert messaged him on a third-party app, and that's why I didn't know that was set for deletion. Well, the reality, as I broke to you all the other day, is that Dan Flood actually messaged him on iMessage. If you're Tyler Robinson's defense, you may want to get that text message. We should be subpoenaing those text messages. I really would love to see all of Charlie's text messages the night before, see how friendly these conversations really were and how he was actually feeling about certain things. We go on. Mikey called me within seconds. The reality is Mikey called Elizabeth first. For some reason, she was completely rinsed out of the story, Elizabeth McCoy. And then they conference called Erica over 3 minutes later. She said he called me within seconds. Okay, maybe she thought that. We can give her a little bit of an inch there. Very strange that Erica did not know that Andrew's wife was aboard the plane to Utah with Andrew, because Andrew said that when he landed in Provo, he and Erica collapsed into one another's arms. And when I asked the question whether or not he flew with his wife, Erica was unable or unwilling to answer. And they said they would get back to me. And then they got back to me after our meeting and said, yes, Andrew's wife was on the plane with him. And I just thought, well, that's interesting, because I didn't tell them. I held that card that Andrew told me that Erica and him collapsed in each other's arms on the tarmac. Also strange is that she waited an hour on the tarmac for Andrew Colbert's plane to land. That feels very wrong to me. Now, this, some might call this splitting hairs. I don't, as somebody who's written a book. Charlie told Megyn Kelly that he was writing a book currently. He said, I am currently writing a book about the Jewish Sabbath, right? Erica, then when she went on her tour, kind of illuminated to the public how he had finished the book in July. Okay, now that's a month difference, but I don't think that if you had finished your book in July,
go.
Okay, as somebody who's been helping somebody write a book for whatever, however long, he was done with the book 6 months ago and said that both things can be true at the same time. What the fuck is wrong with these people?
No, I agree. I've
Both
written
things
6 fucking books, and you finish the book, and then you edit the book, and then you
Yeah.
write the book again, and then you edit the
Yes.
book again, and then you finish it, and then you edit it again. Like
I just read the first chapter and I'm laughing while reading it. I must have read it 6 times or 4 times or something like that. This is so stupid. She's an idiot. Also, the fact that she is an author is so
a
blackpilling.
New York Times best-selling author, because the ghostwriting industry is completely fucked and fraudulent.
Shoot me in the fucking face. Holy shit.
Ghostwriters should be fucking banned.
I don't know how much she's going to get in the Gilgamesh thing, and I just want to say one more thing about the Gilgamesh thing. The red pill on the Gilgamesh thing is that, like I said it already, but I really want to drive it home and I want to give people something that they can go search, is that Gilgamesh itself reveals that the Torah, the Bible, that the stories were compiled way later and that they pulled myths from their locality. In the Gilgamesh story is the Genesis story, is the biblical story. And the Bible itself is like a polemic on those stories because they were in those regions when they wrote them, when they started telling those stories. So it shows that the Torah, the Bible itself, it cannot be true. It cannot be real. This was not revealed to Moses. Moses did not write those books. This is religious fraud. They pulled someone else's religious traditions, claimed it for themselves, they Judaized them, they wrote it as their own thing. And like, that's what the Old Testament is it's a Jewish retelling of Gilgamesh story, okay? And I want to go, there's a scholar named Joshua Bowen, Joshua, and it's Bowen. And if you type it into YouTube, he's got so many interviews where he talks about the connections between the Old Testament and Gilgamesh specifically, and other local myths. So what's happening is when she does this Gilgamesh like space aliens lore, it distracts from that true thing. You understand what I mean?
Mhm.
Because who is into those types of conspiracy theories of like, oh, we invaded Iraq to stop the alien invasion of Gilgamesh in the secret Stargate temples? Well, the people who are into that type of stuff are like Christians. Like, I'm sorry, but like they fall for that stuff. They love that stuff. Basically, they're like so into conspiracies, and that's who falls for it. So what it is it's like a smoke screen for what scholarship and what people are actually learning about Gilgamesh, which is that the Hebrew Bible is bullshit. It's religious fraud, and it's based on earlier myths. Mainly Gilgamesh.
Hang on. Sinbad. I'm very sorry, but only retards think that I or Amalek are lovers of Israel. That's no, girl. No. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
That's funny.
It is funny.
Yeah, but okay, so that is the really
So
wild pill on
basically, the
Gilgamesh
Gilgamesh thing proves what Adam Green wrote in his book. Is that what like the too long didn't read?
I mean, we were talking about this earlier. So like Adam's book, the whole thing is focused on the New Testament and Jesus, right? Like this, what I'm talking about here is like a whole other. This is a whole other concept that's called like biblical minimalism. And if you guys look into something called the Copenhagen School of biblical minimalism, you can go on Wikipedia. There's an article and there's just like a list of a lot of different scholars, stuff like Thompson, and there's a lot of books that I've read that basically go over the Old Testament being, backdated. It's the dates are wrong. The whole thing is like Daniel's a fraud. I could just go on and on and on, but that's basically what that is. So that's like a separate topic from Adam's book, but maybe that's where that's the next book. I don't know.
Fun times.
You would say the exact sentence to Megyn Kelly: I am currently writing a book about the Sabbath. Again, it's a minor detail. Kind of want to harp on that minor detail because there's something that felt very strange to me about that being kind of the first PR push. Charlie was a Christian, but we're going to talk about this. And I promised he finished this book. This was all him. He wrote the last chapter. Well, why didn't he say to Megyn Kelly, I just finished a book. I just finished writing a book about the Sabbath.
Because he wasn't done.
But no, he was saying that as he was angrily referring to people that were calling him anti-Semitic and how they were pushing him away. And Erica has never spoken about that, ever, about what he was going through. In fact, in many ways, she has partnered with the very people that were pressuring him. There's been no flack toward them, but flack toward people who are investigating her husband's murder. So now I'm locked in. I'm focused on the alibi, and I have now made a pretty big discovery. I will say allegedly, because you're supposed to say allegedly.
Allegedly.
This was a pretty strong series of tips that I received that Erica was with a woman named Tracy Martin. Now, she might be familiar to some of you guys who are in Arizona.
Wait, is this where Candace,
she is regular?
Is this where Candace says that Erica's a lesbian or something? Or Erica was having a lesbian affair?
I'm hoping that she was that crazy.
I think that's what that either this or the next episode is about this.
She's a problem.
Yeah, you think?
At Dream City Church, you guys might remember Dream City Church when Charlie was doing a series of speeches. He would do that weekly at Dream City Church. This began with COVID. This gets back to the TPUSA faith origin story. Kind of begins with Rob McCoy and then Dream City Church and lockdowns. We'll get more into that in the coming days. But Tracy Martin, it's actually bigger than that. Tracy Martin has known Erica for years. Now, allegedly, she was with Erica when Mikey and Elizabeth called. My question is why? If you're with your mother and your mother is receiving a treatment and your mother is vulnerable, why are you bringing Tracy with you? In fact, I'm being told that her and her mother were not together. Now, I can tell you, like I said, that Tracy has known Erica for 15 years. And I'm going to show you a clip of Tracy. Later on in this clip, she kind of talks about me and the conspiracies and things of that nature, because that's obligatory. Here's Tracy discussing their very long friendship. Take a listen.
Erica Kirk has been a dear friend of mine for almost 15 years.
Wait, hold on. Before you do this, pause it real quick.
Go ahead.
Okay, so somebody in the chat said, FYI, Gilgamesh does not appear in the King James Bible. What I'm saying is the flood story itself, that is from Gilgamesh. The flood story itself. I'm not saying that Gilgamesh is in the Bible. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that the flood story itself that's in the Bible and the Noah story and all the stories of the Old Testament are all myths pulled from that local region. And the myth about the flood is pulled itself from Gilgamesh. So the flood story in the Bible is a retelling of Gilgamesh, not that it's using Gilgamesh in the story as a character.
Projects together. She wrote the foreword to my book. The photo that has been circulating around that says a Left Eye Club, this is the cuff that she's wearing. I designed it. Those are my jewelry pieces. This was an editorial shot that I actually styled and wanted to get all the products in one shot. Oh, and the Romanian Angels? Yeah, that was a project that a bunch of us were blessed to be a part of because Erica put it together. And we would get a wish list around Christmas time. And it was from children who wanted nothing more than barrettes, brushes, personal care items, pencils, school supplies. And we would all go out and go shopping and we would wrap it up. And it was such a wonderful thing because we would have specific paper that we would wrap our gifts in. And my daughters would then watch the video that Erica would send back to us once the distribution and they were delivered. And we could see the children opening these beautiful gifts. And we knew that we were making an impact all the way around the world. And that's what type of person Erica is. Starting a nonprofit at 17, instead of looking at that as like, how do you do that? Exactly. How do you do that? Unless you're someone like Erica. That's how you do that.
Yeah, she's an Erica stan. She's known her for a very long time. She's known her family for a very long time. She knows Erica's mother for sure. There's a picture of them at least. Definitely someone that's been in her life since Erica's pageant days. She has been following her to Romania. This woman grew up wealthy, by the way. Done some early prodding into her, but she's from Missouri, which has been one of those regular stops on the Egyptian plains, and she grew up wealthy, riding horses. And I would like to know more about her. I would like to know more about Tracy Martin because I'm also unable to determine what exactly it is that her husband does. I'm interested in knowing more about Tracy Martin, so I will leave that there. We'll have a lot more for you on that.
I love how Candace just like asks these ridiculous open-ended questions where she's like, Tracy Martin lives in Missouri. You know what else landed in Missouri? An Egyptian plane. I want to know more about Tracy Martin. Can you guys send me tips telling me crazy shit about Tracy Martin? It's like
it's crazy because what's crazy about this is like this does work for really low IQ people. They are watching this and eating it the fuck up. they're absolutely loving this, right? Like they're sitting here, they're watching this, and they're like, "Oh, that's a good point, Candace. It is the same. They did do that," and they have it's because they have no way of like simulating alternative timelines in their head, right? Like you or I can sit here and hear what she just said, and we can contemplate 1,000 reasons that those two things are the same, right? We can, like that have no bearing on coincidence or conspiracy. I can think of 1,000 reasons why those two things would be like together. But she is unable, and many people who are lower IQ are unable to like simulate parallel alternative universes. It's fucking crazy to watch.
Well, the other thing too is like what Candace is is so good at is she frames everything like with cliffhanger. So you're on the edge of your seat, like what's going to happen next in this little drama that Candace is like she tells like this is like Lost. It's like Lost. Every episode is a cliffhanger. You don't know what's going to happen next. She's going to come up with some crazy story next time. She's going to leave that one on a cliffhanger, and it just keeps going and going and going.
And where the story is going and what else I know about that day, which leads me to believe that Erica Kirk was not with her mother on September 10th. I will state that. I do not believe that Erica Kirk was with Lori Fonfrey on September 10th. Who is Tracy Martin? Who is her husband? What does he do, rather? I do know her husband. What's his first name? You guys remind me. I can't remember. Is it Thomas Martin? That's his name. I'm not exactly sure what it is that he does. So I'm interested to hear that. And I'll leave it at that. Email us at moretips@CandaceOwens.com.
All right. That's the end of that episode. Did Candace do an episode today, or do we just have one more? We only have one more.
The more tips at CandaceOwens.com. Everyone should take the time whenever you're bored, you want to do some creative writing, to send tips to that email address.
You should, yeah.
And if you can include some funny Easter eggs that she'll then say on the show, like it's bonus points. It's very fun stuff. I have not gotten her yet to include some of my lore, but I have sent like 5 of them now at this point. I think she's going to bite one of these times. I've tried to include the fact that the Bonaparte family, the Napoleon Bonaparte family, is trying to come back into power in France, and that Macron is trying to stop that from happening, and that they're trying to that the Napoleon family, the Bonaparte family, is trying to send Candace information to help them overthrow Macron. Now, like I said, she hasn't bit on any of that yet, but that is right on the bullseye mark to get her to bite, right? Like she might get that one.
I wonder how many other people are doing that. I wonder how many bullshit tips she gets like that all the time, but she can't discern between what's real and fake.
Well, that's what's important about the creative writing exercise, guys, is you can't make it sound too unbelievable that she doesn't believe it. But it has, you know what I'm saying? You gotta really thread the needle there.
All right, we got one more episode.
All right, you guys, happy Thursday. So Erica Kirk went onto Fox News last night, and she made a plea for transparency. I have to say I'm totally with her on that one, and I would like to join her in the pursuit of it with an open letter to her. In the same vein, one of the fired TPUSA employees has now posted a public video informing the public of exactly what's been going on behind the scenes and the real reason that they believe that a lot of people were fired. Now, after watching their boss get assassinated and after working 20-hour days, this young employee was subjected to a rather bizarre loyalty test. We're going to tell you all about that. So welcome back to Candace.
Oh, no.
Let there be light. I mean, at least that was in a nutshell what Erica Kirk told the reporter Trace Gallagher in a one-on-one interview regarding what she is hoping to get out of these court proceedings. She wants transparency. Take a listen.
I want there to be no hesitation in understanding of what happened to my husband that day. I want there to always be full transparency, because what I don't want to have happen is for there not to be. And then I am relying then on social media and other news outlets to explain the narrative rather than saying, hey, this is what happened. This is what here's all of the, it's just as hard, all of the facts on the table for you guys to see. And you guys can see on full display what happened to my husband, and there is no ifs, ands, or buts or confusion as to who did it and why.
Amalek, what is your explanation about why Erica Kirk is so fucking weird?
Oh, that is so easy. This is so easy. You know it. You know why she's weird.
I have, well, because she's a grieving widow. No, I don't think that's the answer. So what is it?
Because she's a stage actress and she's now being forced
a
to be a live.
pageant girl.
Yeah, she's a stage actress, right? And now she's being forced to do TV, right? Live TV. And if you've ever seen like the type of person that does like musicals and stage acting and how they are basically unable to transition into like TV or live shows or anything like that, that's what's happening with Erica. She was not meant to be doing what she's doing right now. She's always been that's why like the crying is so performative and like stagey and all that other stuff. That's why everything's so weird. But
That's a fair point. I mean, she was like in that whole world since she was a little kid, so.
yeah, she's just like a sing-songy stage actress, and she's not able to just like transition that into be like a real person in like a video format, live format kind of thing.
I just need to take a screenshot of this freeze frame to use it for later.
Oh, that's a good one.
It is a good one.
I don't believe her at all. That wasn't convincing. I don't know what was hard about getting that sentence out. That seems remarkably rehearsed. It almost just seems like she forgot a line. Nothing in her eyes there makes you believe it. She's telling the truth, but beyond the eyes, just the actions, right? You can judge people by their actions. Erica, if she truly wanted more transparency, she could provide it because you don't need it in a courtroom. We actually do not need to turn to the courts to have the public understand what happened on that day, because before the courts even got involved, the first people that had access to exactly what happened in 4K, as Tyler Boyer said, was Turning Point USA. They seized the cameras. They could have said, here, I'm also going to have some private investigators take a look at everything and tell them what they think. I was one of the people that called and personally requested to view the tapes. I said, we don't have to release them. I just want to see the tapes. And they were immediately cagey. They've been cagey about information. They've been changing information for saying, oh, I didn't realize that we lied about this or we lied about that. So making this public plea to the courts, I don't know. I think that it stands in stark contrast to the actions that are available to Erica Kirk.
Wait, David says the final red pill is knowing that Erica Kirk is in fact JonBenet Ramsey. That would actually be less crazy than the things Candace is talking about, honestly.
Kirk as the CEO and chairman of this massive organization. But exactly how massive? Anyway, I wanted to write this open letter to Erica because I know that Turning Point USA watches every episode of this podcast and that people then take what I say back to her and they give her notation. So I would appreciate it if the elves at Turning Point USA just let her see this in its entirety. Here we go. Because more information has become available to me. I am feeling, well, I'm feeling some type of way. Here we go. Ready? Dear Erica, I thought it best to do this publicly. I think public conversations keep everybody honest. And there are some things that certainly need to be clarified because sometimes the gap between the truth and the lie is what happens behind closed doors. You and Charlie began dating in earnest in 2019, and in retrospect, it was accompanied by a season of a lot of change. For one, I was getting married and virtually, therefore, joined at the hip with my fiance. He was sort of a new third wheel at all of our events. A few months later, on May 1st, the public was informed that I was resigning from my position as the communications director of Turning Point USA. Now, there has been a lot of public speculation as to what led to that decision. The media ran with it was anti-Semitism or some disagreement about Kanye West, but that wasn't true. None of that was true. The truth, and I think that you very well know what the truth is, because you were around for it, is that Charlie and I had a disagreement which fractured my trust in him. He did something that he had never done before. He lied to my face about money. Now, in retrospect, I believe that the manner in which I discovered the lie might have been by design, but there's no need for us to delve into conspiracy when the facts are plenty enough. Charlie had taken a meeting down in Florida with Ike Perlmutter at Mar-a-Lago. It was a fundraising meeting. For whatever reason, he did not want me to know about this meeting. And that was strange. It was meant to be kept a secret. Strange because we had always collaborated on and taken those sorts of meetings together. Anyway, I found out about it, and I decided to ask him casually as we were riding up an elevator at the Trump Hotel in DC. I said to him, have you heard from Ike recently? And he looked me right in the face just as he was getting off on his floor. And he said, no, I haven't. I haven't heard from him in like 2 weeks. And I then said back to him, really, Charlie, because you had lunch with him yesterday at Mar-a-Lago. And I saw his stomach drop. His entire face looked, as if he was going down a roller coaster. He stuck his arm back in the elevator really quickly and tried to explain it away. He then pivoted toward an apology, but obviously the damage was done. And if I'm being honest, I was as hurt as I was shocked and confused by it because we were close. We did go back down to the lobby. We sat at a table and we talked. I don't even remember whether or not I was angry. I probably was. That does tend to be my choice emotion. But deep down, there was a part of me that knew that it was coming because of a lot of the new hires that were coming into Turning Point USA post Kanye tweet. Charlie had new people in his ear that were hijacking.
Yo, if this was my wife, I'm blowing my brains out, by the way, all over the place. Okay. Boom. There is no fucking way I could put up with this for 1 week. For 1 week, it's over. What the fuck? How has he not reeled this in? What the hell is going on?
I was saying the same thing earlier. I was like, why hasn't Candace's husband stepped in? Like, this is
Holy
like egregious
shit.
at this point. Like, it's egregious.
Dude. Who has the bigger who had the bigger L marriage? Is it him or Sarah Stock's husband? Which one was worse?
That's a real tough situation. But I mean, probably him, because he has kids with her. Like the Sarah Stock thing, he can still get away from it. Like it's gonna hurt for a minute, but like it's still relatively new. There's no kids.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, they didn't create a whole new. No, never mind. I won't even.
That whole thing is fucking crazy, though. That is like a whole other conversation.
There's no fucking way I could deal with this. Like, and I'm not. I have like a high tolerance for this kind of thing. There's just no way I could deal with it.
Success. Charlie was a brilliant fundraiser. Everybody knows that, but he was also young. He was naive to what the wrong money could invite into his life. And I warned him. I warned him in that restaurant. I warned him specifically about Stacey Sheridan. Everything about her made my skin crawl. And I suspected she and Tyler had something to do with it. I also warned him about Schaefer Security and Dan Flood. You can check the text messages because you have them. And now I am left wondering, obviously, if Charlie had heeded my advice, if he would still be alive. I've also come to another realization that I missed at that time. Maybe the newest and the biggest influence in his ear. Who was that? Obviously, it was you. You were the newest and biggest influence in Charlie's life. You kind of all arrived at the same time. And you too, Erica, you lied to my face as we sat down in that hotel and we spoke for 4 hours. But I want to be clear, it was different. You see, with Charlie, I could forgive him. We were always like brother and sister. We went on tours thereafter. But you didn't do it when you lied. You didn't do it out of naivety. You didn't do it because you were young and being pulled into the wrong direction by bad faith actors. Andrew Colvett was never going rogue. You knew that. Every single evil thing that was done to me was done with your blessing. And I consider the onslaught of attacks that I had to endure, they were evil. Because you knew I was telling the truth and you authorized people.
A lot of people are saying they think that Candace was in love with Charlie and she was jealous of Erica. I don't think that's it at all. I think that Candace is a narcissist and she got some sort of narcissistic injury from Erica, and therefore Erica is going to be her nemesis for all time, and she's always going to try to exact retribution to whatever the fuck Erica did to her. And maybe it's even an extension of Charlie. I don't know, but like, that's what I think is going on. I don't think Candace is capable of loving anyone. Like, does anyone actually think that Candace is in love with her husband? Those two, like, if you looked at them together, you would think they never had sex.
Well, yeah.
I mean, they have probably at least a couple times because they have kids, but...
Well, maybe.
Maybe.
with an incredible amount of money to attack
I mean, he did have some responsibility to have kids, right? Because he's like a British lord, and so he had to like have kids to be able to, not be disowned by his family or something.
few people in politics who was actually grieving your husband. You knew we had a deep friendship. You knew I was telling the truth about the Catholic thing, about everything. You allowed these people to lie and to say that Charlie and I hadn't spoken since 2019. I mean, it's crazy how much of a lie that was. You authorized it, and I now know that. The question is why? It was so cruel. It was so mean, right? Why impart that on someone who you know within a sea of snakes actually cared about Charlie and didn't want anything out of the organization? Maybe it's because I was like a loose end, one person that wasn't controlled by an organization. I'd just kind of proven that I'd rather lose everything to say something that I don't believe, least of all for money. I mean, maybe it's also because you have his phone. And when I revealed to the public that he had predicted his own death in remarkable detail, maybe you went back and you read the rest of those messages, the ones that I haven't yet revealed to the public, because in retrospect, those messages they're pretty terrifying because they're precise and it feels prophetic. Charlie was gifted. You know that. I know that. And the government most certainly knew that as well since he was a kid, which is why it was at least very interesting to me that you told the New York Times, something that most people didn't pay attention to, but you told the New York Times the night before his murder, Charlie's, and I'm going to quote this, you said that Charlie's adrenal glands were just going off. He couldn't sleep. I know enough about Charlie to know what that means. That means that Charlie was being bothered. He was probably having visions like he was in 2018, probably a clearer vision than the one that I had that you guys tried to mock, that danger was coming. And I'm going to go ahead and say that it wasn't about a Jezebel article written by some leftist. Please stop saying that because it's not true. I know Charlie, a leftist article didn't upset him in this way, didn't make him call a priest to pray over him. He thought someone was going to kill him. He did express that in writing, and you did not lose those text messages. You knew that. But Charlie and I spoke a lot about his third eye. That's why that sentence caught my attention in the article. He spoke about the street lamps that would go off when he would run, about the special school that he had to go to. He spoke about a lot of the things that were strange in our childhood, the testing that both of us had to endure. We spoke about the fact that we could both astral project. You know all of this, of course. You have his phone. And how surprised we were when we learned that not everybody does that naturally. Sleep paralysis, you name it. We had conversations about it.
I fucking can't. I just fucking can't. Candace believes that they're in the fucking X-Men.
Dude, I talked to somebody in my dreams thing is quite literally like medieval peasantry. Do you understand this?
I mean, listen, and I believe in all this shit. I actually do believe in all this shit, but I also know that all of this shit is completely antithetical to Christianity. So it's like you can't do both. You can't be a Catholic and also believe in this. It doesn't work.
And if Charlie's adrenal glands were going off, it was probably maybe for the very same reason that I pulled my kids out of school days before he was murdered, because I sensed danger was coming. And since we are being open, I also want you to know that it struck me as odd when you said in that interview with Jesse Waters that you wanted Charlie to have a good night's sleep. He was so excited. So you sent him to sleep in his daughter's room. It just registered me as a little bit backwards. If I wanted my husband to have a good night's sleep because of something he had the next day, I'd probably let him sleep in the room and I would sleep in my daughter's room. I flagged that. I also thought what was interesting is that you said the next morning when he snuck in, he grabbed his wedding band. Again, minor detail, but I asked myself, why was his wedding band off? But enough with speculation.
Shut up, bitch.
People take their rings. What the fuck are you
What does she think
about?
it is? Does she think it's literally the Lord of the Rings? Does she think we're in Lord of the Rings? Does she think we're in Lord of the Rings? We're not in Lord of the Rings. Like,
I'm not wearing my wedding band right now. I don't wear it when I'm in the house. Like,
I hate her so much. Can we please deport her? Holy shit.
How is it possible that he was not wearing his wedding band while he was sleeping at night?
You know how she talks in this pacing, Like she's telling. It's like da-da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da. It's like you go up and you go down. It's like this fucking. She's like doing like a spell on these idiots. This like idiots are falling for this.
Candace is the new QAnon. It's CAnon now.
What is she doing? I heard. Whatever.
I now have verifiable proof in writing that Justin Strife and you lied to me. You know exactly who Pierre is. Why did Justin Strife say that he had never heard of Pierre? It's crazy. Justin, why would you do that? Justin, you know him. You've met with him. You've personally met with Pierre. Erica, you've met with him in the wake of Charlie's death. I have, again, verifiable proof. So you can call your lawyers. You can spend another billion on PR if you want to. Tell your lawyer to call my lawyer. I mean, you guys certainly have the money to do all of these things. It's not going to wipe away the truth. Okay. The truth is that there was a deal on the table with Pierre, who, yes, is from France, born in France.
No,
and that deal was worth billions. Not millions, billions, plural, billions of dollars. Just after Charlie was shot, and again, I have proof, Pierre had a phone call with Justin Strife. He also had a phone call with Mr. Don Orico of Turning Point USA down in Tampa. And you know what's really odd? Somehow this Frenchman, Pierre, he knew that Charlie was dead before the rest of the world did. How did he know that? How did he know before I knew? Especially because he wasn't yet a donor to Turning Point USA. Why was he given so much priority? Frenchman. I'm interested. I know that after Charlie died, that deal went through. Yeah. I mean, if I'm lying, this would definitely fall within the category of defamation. So, yeah,
Why don't you just
I'm all
sue
in
me,
on this
Erica?
one.
Why don't you just sue me?
I'm guessing, by the way, regarding this, Pierre, that this might be the reason that the White House never got back to me regarding the French Foreign Legion being involved with Charlie's assassination. Because, I don't know, there could be a French angle here. Could this be a motive? Could billions of dollars be a motive? I mean, I'll just ask some immediate questions. My question would be, why would a devout Catholic Frenchman be looking to give billions of dollars to an evangelical organization? Is that not weird? Just
are you
objectively
retarded?
weird?
Is she retarded? Is she retarded? Is that a serious question? She's literally worked for the Daily Wire. You literally work for the Daily Wire, you stupid bitch. 50% of the employees at Daily Wire are Catholic, you dumb bitch. The whole thing of Daily Wire and TPUSA was drumming up all Christians to support Israel, you stupid bitch. She acts like Catholics and Protestants are still. It's the 30 Years' War. She thinks it's the 30 Years' War still. Catholics and Protestants don't actually hate each other outside of being online on social media. Dumbass. This is so stupid. She's an idiot. She doesn't know anything.
Fucking dumb. She's so dumb.
She's a dumbass. I'm waiting for my dinner still, and I'm sitting here like watching this, and it's like making me so mad. I hate her so fucking much. I did not see this episode yet. I hate her. Why is this what gets pushed to the front? This is getting pushed to the front because for two reasons. First of all, for AstroTurf, Duganist, bullshit propaganda reasons, right? But also, the worst reason is because everyone is so fucking stupid.
So real, bro. So real. I like the fire, though. Keep ranting. This is great.
Just really care about free market capitalism? What's France got to do with college campuses in America? Full stop. The answer, Erica, is nothing. Nothing. And one of the things that when I was a kid, and other GATE kids, since we've been speaking about the GATE program, when they put you in these special classes, they test you frequencies, sounds, they made us drink fluoride, all the weird stuff. But one of the things they're especially interested in is how quickly you can put together puzzles. And I want you to know that I excelled at that. I was really good.
Oh, I'm sure she's done a lot of coloring with crayons and puzzle putting together. I'm sure she's done a ton of that.
I think a picture is starting to emerge here. I think I was right.
Yep.
My best guess is that it was Pierre Falcone all along. of Angola Gate. We talked about it on the show. France, Israel, the United States. This time it would be Egypt rather than Angola, all working together. Maybe they were getting the band back together to traffic because, there's been a lot of trafficking that just keeps coming up in this investigation. These countries, these satellite of countries, you trying to pretend with your what now billions of dollars, got a PR, we can do all of this. And it was so crazy. Oh my God. Little joke about the Egyptian planes. What? Nothing to see here. This is my theory. There's a lot to see here because you were lying to cover Bibi Netanyahu's tracks. That's very strange.
Yep.
You were there when Bibi Netanyahu called. Andrew told me that Bibi offered to take Turning Point USA to the next level and that Charlie turned him down in the Hamptons at the dinner that you were a part of, but you don't remember that part. You say he's just calling about a letter that Charlie.
Oh, we got a super chat. I think I actually missed some super chats from earlier. I apologize if I missed your super chat from earlier. Actually, let me go back and get these. I apologize, guys. Thank you, Milk and Cornbread, for the super chat. I'm so sorry. I missed this when Amalek was talking earlier. This obsession with Charlie from her seems like she was actually in love with Charlie, but Erica slipped in and got him first. I think it's the narcissism thing myself. And then we got Believe here, Karlyn Research Operation Trust. Okay, I'll definitely look into that. Thank you. We got Melissa. Who is winning in a cage fight, Erica or Candace? I think Candace, because I think that Candace will do whatever crazy shit she has to. I don't think Erica could take her. I don't think Erica could get punched. And I think Candace would definitely get on top of Erica and just wail and wail and wail. What do you think, Amalek?
I think Candace is definitely winning that fight.
Mm-hmm.
He wrote 5 months earlier. The dinner that you thereafter allowed an army of influencers to claim never actually happened, but you were there. Oh, I was there every step of the way. None of this ever happened. Nobody wanted to address Bibi calling. Nobody made any statements about that. Full-blown psyop, psychological operation. Truly, everything that you guys did, not only was it cruel, but I think the real motivation was you just thought you could psychologically break me. Because that's what this whole thing has been. It's been one big psyop. Very well funded because there's a lot of money on the line. If nothing happened in the Hamptons that was out of the usual, why the panic? Because something did happen. Charlie told Bibi Netanyahu no. Bibi, also, Charlie had declined to have Bibi on his podcast. When Bibi went on a little PR tour, Charlie didn't want to have him on the podcast, according to Andrew. So Charlie seems pretty done with Israel, right? You don't want to have on the prime minister of Israel? But the obvious question here at the media is not interested in, but I certainly am, is in exchange for what, right? In exchange for what was Bibi Netanyahu going to take Turning Point USA to the next level? In exchange for what? And also, how was he planning to get that money into the company? Turning Point was already worth $100 million. Pulls in $100 million annually. What does the next level mean? It sounds like it would have to be billions. Via whom? My guess is Pierre. Erica. I think that there's a reason Pierre knew that Charlie was dead first. I think there's a reason he was a priority. How? Why? I think France and Israel are involved in Charlie.
Hold on, so let me just get this straight.
Hang on. Go ahead.
So I just want to make sure that I'm understanding this correctly. So her basis for her argument is that this Pierre guy knew that Charlie was killed before her, and therefore that he is a foreign agent who knew about it and was trafficking children and involved in some sort of Israel, French, Angola, Egyptian conspiracy. Is that what I'm getting right here? Am I putting this together correctly? That because he knew before her, meanwhile, what, she knew at 12 minutes after it happened and he knew at 9? Is that what we're talking about here?
Yeah, basically. Yeah, I think so.
Okay. I just want to make sure that I'm following this correctly.
You see that freeze frame right there? That's the face Candace would make at you if you two were married and you said something she didn't like.
There's just no way that would ever happen.
I gotta take a picture. That's like the third Candace freeze frame in this episode that's just absolutely perfect and needs to be used again.
It's incredible how dumb this conspiracy is. I see this all the time, though. By the way, the methodology, the reason it makes me so mad is because like this methodology, a way of people thinking, is everywhere online, especially with the Epstein files. It's fucking crazy.
It's absurd. It's to the point where like on Twitter, I don't even read the comments anymore, really, except like very rarely, maybe like once a day or so. And it's like most of the shit I see is so stupid that it's just like, okay, I can't even deal with this. I don't even bother with TikTok. I post stuff on TikTok. I have no idea what happens with it. I don't read any of the comments or anything because I'm like, I can't handle this. Let's see. We got a super chat here from Wolf. Thank you, Wolf. How many walls do you think she is using to keep track of all this malarkey with like the string and all that stuff? I don't know.
The worst part is probably none. It's probably just getting off of the top of her head as she goes. Like, I don't know. She's dumb, dude.
It's like Mad Libs. It's like Cards Against Humanity. It's like just putting a whole bunch of shit together and then going in whatever direction it goes in.
I'm going to put that out there with full confidence.
Yeah. Okay, Cam.
I also now have very strong evidence, which suggests that you lied about your whereabouts on the morning of September 10th. Little details have been edited. You said that you were accompanying your mother as she was receiving a treatment. Like I said, I now have something which strongly disputes that narrative. So I'll ask you this question on behalf of the world. What the hell happened on September 10th? Why are you guys struggling to get your story straight? Why did you tell Jesse Waters this?
And you wanted to see Charlie immediately and came up. Take us through that.
We landed in Utah, went straight to the hospital.
Straight to the hospital? Andrew told me that when he deplaned, you guys embraced on the tarmac and he boohoo cried in your arms because he had so much pent up anxiety. So just given the planes, which you confirmed to me, which plane he was on and which plane you were on, that would mean that you had to wait for Andrew to land for an hour. Waited for an hour. Don't do the thing where you tell me that Andrew went rogue. Don't do that, Erica. You're lying. You would be lying. The question is why? Why did you wait? And how long did you wait? And who was on the Egyptian planes? Who took off to Delaware? Who stayed behind to communicate on that second plane that was transponding for no reason? I think you know what I know, which is that I'm going to find out. This is not going to be a never-ending mystery. This is not going to be the JFK story. I'm going to figure out exactly what happened, and I'm getting very close against all odds, against billions. You might have the billions, but I have the truth. So that's what I wanted to say to you. We'll be right back.
Oh, God.
All right, you guys, inflation has been
Fast forward, no ads, no ads. Okay.
Funny. It's so weird. Mikey went straight from high school, was just Charlie's intern assistant, and now he's sitting down with board members and discussing how they should invest into restaurants. Just send him my regards because we're everywhere and we're watching and we're listening. The whole world is invested in solving this. And so, hi, Doug. Anyway, I wanted to also play for you guys. We had been wondering what was going on behind the scenes at Turning Point USA. We told you about the firings that have been happening, people that were hardly given an excuse as to why they were fired. And I, in particular, told you a story about one young woman who had worked there for, I think, 4 or 5 years and got fired over or questioned over an Uber ride. Well, she has now dropped a video, and I'm going to play it, about 5 minutes of this video so you can listen to her describe what happened to her because it gives us insight into how this company is running with Charlie gone and with Erica at the helm of it. Take a listen.
My name is Audrey Lech, and I am the former public relations manager for Turning Point USA. And I was a part of the recent kind of mass termination group at Turning Point, and was let go about 3 weeks ago. And at the time of my release, I was working for the ATK company, which is spokesman Andrew Colvet's private business that contracts out with the Turning Point kind of ecosystem. So encompassing of Turning Point USA and Turning Point Action. I was working directly for him. Prior to that, I did work for Turning Point USA. So I've been with the organization since 2021, September 10th, 2025. Obviously, it was an extremely traumatizing day for everyone. I think pretty much everyone in the world with any amount of sanity was slightly traumatized by what they saw. It was an extremely traumatizing day for me. And I worked nonstop. My phone received hundreds of phone calls on September 10th, thousands of text messages. In December, we obviously had America Fest here in Phoenix, Arizona, and that was nonstop work too. And so really it's just been go, go, go for almost the past 6 months. During the memorial, for example, I literally did not sleep for over 48 hours. Despite all of that, I want to go ahead and fast forward to my termination, which took place about 3 weeks ago. And I was brought into an office to have a discussion just generally about my employment. It was myself, Andrew Colbett, and Marina Minas, who is the CMO of Turning Point USA, who I used to work for when I was just full-time with Turning Point. They sat me down and told me that there were 2 instances they wanted to talk to me about, one of which is pretty irrelevant to this timeline. So I'm just going to talk about the one, which was an Uber ride. What was told to me was that a Turning Point executive got into an Uber one day and they randomly just kind of started talking about Turning Point. And the executive asked the driver, what do you think about Turning Point? And the driver proceeded to tell the Turning Point executive, well, it's just really sad. I've heard the organization's really going downhill. There's not really a direction and nobody likes Erica. And the Turning Point executive proceeded to ask this Uber driver, well, who told you that? And the Uber driver told the Turning Point executive that his daughter was good friends with a girl that worked at Turning Point way back when in high school. They had spoken about Turning Point since Charlie's assassination, and that, this was told to him by his daughter. And the Turning Point executive, of course, asked, well, what's the employee's name? And the Uber driver allegedly said, Aubrey who? Audrey Lech. And the story was presented to me as one of the reasons for my termination. Turning Point has not insinuated this. They never told me anything like this. However, I just have a gut feeling that I was terminated from Turning Point because I am questioning the narrative of what happened to my role model and CEO, Charlie Kirk, on the day of his assassination. It is from my own experience that you can't question the narrative and work at Turning Point. That is how I feel. That is how other people I've talked to feel. It goes against everything that Charlie ever stood for.
Well, that is actually kind of like how businesses run, though. If you're fucking with the reputation of the business, you're probably not going to work there anymore.
I'm going to take action. I'm going to ask questions. I'm going to talk to other people. And I refuse to apologize for having my own freedom of thought, which is something that Charlie ingrained in me and so many other young people.
First and foremost, I just want to say the idea of being brought into an office and questioned by your boss about something an Uber driver said. What is this, Gossip Girl? I mean, what CW show are we watching here where you get pulled in and asked a question about what you said to an Uber driver? Maybe. I mean, maybe she said it, maybe she didn't say it, but isn't it kind of your right to go home and talk trash about work? Isn't that kind of what everybody does when they leave? I assume. I know I'm lovely, but I'm sure that people in the control room go and they vent about work in general because that's a normal thing to do. The idea of a CMO asking questions to an Uber driver is bonkers. Okay, these are loyalty tests and these people are completely and utterly deranged. Secondly, I want to say this. Even if every employee was terrible, like actually deserved to be fired from their job, I would probably, after pulling in $250 million, say, we got to hold for a year because they just literally watched Charlie Kirk be assassinated. There's like a degree of respectability there, like a grieving period for a year. We're going to make sure there's no other transitions in your life and keep things solid. No, they just were like, peace out. And I think she's right. I think in the end there, when she says that this was actually motivated by them going after people who they suspected were not loyal to Erica or people that didn't seem to fully buy what happened on September 10th, which, by the way, is everyone. They're going to just have to get rid of everyone. And I think eventually they will and start anew. the entire world, I don't even know who they're going to bring in their place. I see they're advertising now. No one is buying what the feds are selling. No one is buying what Erica is selling. Nobody is buying what any person is trying to sell to us about what took place on September 10th. Okay. So I don't see what direction they're heading into. I have no idea what that organization is going to become, but I'm getting closer. I'm getting real close to understanding what happened. I think just going through the questions, the who, the what, the when, the where, the why. I think lying about knowing Pierre, Justin Strife, that signals to me that there's a fear. Why didn't you want us to know about Pierre? Because if he was just somebody who was going to give billions of dollars, you just be like, oh yeah, I spoke to him. Like, I've been in communication. He just happened to call me at that time.
Hey, thanks, Peter, for the super chat. Appreciate it. Hey, earlier in the chat, I said I'd rather listen to Candace than Bongino. I take that back. Haha. Wish I had more money to support your work. I appreciate that. Amalek, did you see this clip of Dan Bongino breaking down the conservative ecosystem, and he blamed everything on the liberals and the Jew haters?
Oh, I have not seen that. That sounds amazing.
I'm gonna send it to you. He's so fucking dumb. I didn't even think it was that bad.
May issue you guys a report card. Far be it from me to do this. This is where you guys messed up. Stupid lies, not behaving in the way. Forget everybody grieves differently. Nobody grieves in the manner of allowing people who were actually enemies of your husband to open up AmFest. Like that, if I'm being honest, the first moment that I went, oh, something is very wrong, was when Ben became the defender of Charlie Kirk. I mean, I just knew too much. It was like, whoa. Why is Ben pressing Megyn Kelly, pretending that he cares about Charlie Kirk? This is bizarre. This is literally
because
he doesn't. Well, not just that, but he doesn't care. Ben doesn't care. But Ben realized Ben is not an idiot. Okay, Ben understands that TPUSA was an arm of Israel, an Israel propaganda organization. That's what it was. And Ben immediately knew that it has to get that he has to sweep in, stabilize the whole thing. That's why Ben cares so much. He's not upset by him and Charlie had their disagreements over. Should we talk to Tucker Carlson or not? But they're still on the same page on Israel and everything else. He was just on Ben's show right before he died, like a couple days before he died. He did an interview with Ben. The idea that he was like some arch nemesis with Ben Shapiro because Ben disagreed with him over platforming Tucker Carlson or Candace or any of these people is so incredibly stupid. It's so fucking dumb. It's just dumb.
It's like wishful thinking. It's wishful thinking. I'm only looking at the evidence that supports what I want to see, and not looking at the evidence that doesn't support it. Confirmation bias.
Yeah, and then they take his interview where he is basically making the case for allowing Tucker and others to talk, and they're taking that as evidence that look, he was just days before he on the interview with Ben Shapiro, he was pushing back against Ben Shapiro. It's like, dude. He was doing it from the point of view that he agreed with everything Ben Shapiro was doing, and it was just like an optics thing, or a disagreement on strategy. You know what I mean? It wasn't like a disagreement on the idea of Zionism.
Because every time you see Ben, you just assume Israel's involved. He's also, by the way, randomly doing things about Korea right now, breaking down what's going on in Korea. There's also this Korean angle that's not making sense. You fumbled the ball there. If I was running the game, I'd say, hey, let's pretend we're only going to allow Charlie's friends around because we're actually grieving. This is where the PR went sideways. It just seemed like a pay to play is what AmFest looked like. And it looked like people that were paying Israel, right? It seemed like Israel was paying. Maybe I would have also waited to drop the Shabbat Shalom book, maybe while people in the air were going, looks, feel like he maybe did it because he's saying he didn't. And it's kind of weird to feel like you have to say you didn't. I would have said, maybe let's roll the book out Q1 2026. And maybe let's not do it with Barry Weiss. I feel like that's not Charlie's buddy. But you guys didn't do that. You kind of went right in there. So it seemed, I think you guys fumbled a bit there. Silly lies, lies that didn't really make sense. And I don't know, thinking that we were going to accept that Laura Loomer and Ben Shapiro were now the friends of Charlie Kirk. And the people that were actually his friends were his enemies, attacking Tucker Carlson, demanding he get canceled, me attacking me nonstop. You fumbled. I think you fumbled in the performance. I am not sold on it. And with what I know and what I'm getting close to, I don't think there will be a person in the world that's sold on it. So other than the people you bought and purchased.
Oh, that's the other thing she does too. Anyone who disagrees with her has been bought and purchased. How about we just don't agree? Like, I hate her.
No, but it's the same thing. It's like what they all say. Like the Zionists are like, you've been bought by fucking Qatar. She's saying you've been bought and purchased by like wherever. It's like what everyone says.
In the coming weeks is what I will say. Anyway, I saw that Tim Dillon wrapped his show where he was lamenting how it's all just so fake. Everything is so fake, and that is how it has felt.
Everything is fake.
Wait, hold on.
Here.
Pause real quick.
Go ahead.
Has she talked about the astral projection thing yet on this one here?
I think that was the quote.
It's this
earlier.
episode. It's this episode right here where she goes over it, because I just saw the clip again scrolling through my timeline.
Yeah, she talked about that earlier.
Okay, I don't know if I missed it already. Okay, go ahead.
It feels like, as he says, we are just kind of watching a really bad reality show, and you're wondering when they're going to stop, when they're going to admit that they lied about everything, but they just kind of keep going. Here's what Tim Dillon had to say.
The tech people that were very liberal are now very right wing, and they'll be very liberal and they don't care. They don't care. And then the people that came to power criticizing free speech, criticizing the lack of free speech on social media are now shutting down free speech on social media.
Mm-hmm.
So it's obvious that a lot of this is fake. And it's performative. It's a show. It's a reality show. I mean, it's not necessarily the funniest episode we've done, but it is the truth. It is what's happening. It is what's happening. And in this time, you can really only trust one person. There's one person that I trust in this time. There's only one person I trust.
This is a joke. He's about to say this.
And it's Erica Kirk.
Oh, that's hilarious. I thought he was about to say Candace.
I thought it was too.
The comedians. I trust that Erica Kirk, with the $250 million a Turning Point earned off of the back of their employees who are working 20-hour days and a sympathetic public. Well, sadly, those employees that were fired, not even given an excuse, at least Aubrey got an excuse, some of them got nothing, as we showed you, are now starting a GoFundMe because they didn't get anything. They didn't get a bonus. They got nothing.
They didn't give them
They have
severance?
put this up on
Wow.
GoFundMe, the Purge Fallout Fund. I believe this is supporting 8 employees. And so I wanted to promote this, and I'm hopeful that Erica can donate to it. Maybe. I mean, could they get $100 for 20-hour days? $100 so they can get a grieving counselor. Maybe they can buy themselves a
That's actually kind of bullshit if they let them go without any severance. That they definitely should have done that.
dog to pet. I think that would be great if Turning Point USA.
Hey, sorry, I don't actually give a shit about
and these
the employment.
I'm an organizational psychologist, and like I care about these things. Okay,
I don't care. I don't give a shit what like the employment practices of like the newest Israeli psyop organization is. They could literally do slavery and it wouldn't make me change what my mind of them. Like I don't give a shit.
I'm not suggesting I would like them if they gave them severance. I just said it was the right thing to do. If you're gonna fire people, give them a little bit of like a cushion.
Their organization is literally like hell bent on destroying our planet with Zionism. Like
then
literally,
you should want them to spend the money on the people who are not going to work there anymore.
Whatever. I just don't care. They can all fuck off. Any of them. Every single one. Of them.
Okay.
GoFundMe.
Okay.
It's so far beyond the realm of okay. It's just so evil. It's also evil that we're gonna have to donate. It's us, everybody. If you got $1 to support these employees who were traumatized by watching their employer die, got 0 days off, then had to work 20-hour days through to the end of the year, through to AmFest, and then got fired without a reason. If you would like to support these employees, and you should, I'm certainly going to, you can head to the Purge Fallout GoFundMe campaign. We will take a brief break and we'll be right back. All right, you guys, do you owe
Did you see
back
Tucker's
taxes or maybe
today an Ian Carroll interview that's talking about Pizzagate the whole time?
I want to watch it. Did you watch it?
No, I have
I
it as
heard
my
about
save. I hate them so. I hate the whole. I hate these people. You know, I used to like believe in all of this stuff, which is kind of why it pisses me off so much. And then I got really disappointed when I learned how to actually like look into things and research it, and just discover like all the bullshit and lies that they just like all repeat and expand upon all that other thing. And the worst part about it is there is like a kernel of truth to what they're saying, and by like making all this lies and bullshit, it makes it like no serious person is actually going to take these ideas or anything seriously, because they see it's like tainted by all this bullshit and lies and all that other stuff. So to
That's the
what
whole
the
point, isn't it? To delegitimize the
oh
ideas.
yeah, so like to what degree there is like Pizzagate like stuff going on is irrelevant, because the myth around Pizzagate is actually destroying the ability to deal with the problem or the underlying actual thing going on there.
Mm-hmm.
This is on us. He's a Catholic, born in France, living in Tampa area in Florida. Somebody knows something, getting involved.
I don't
A
know
building,
anything, but you
potentially a
can tell
shrine
me.
down there. Who knows? We're going to figure this out. If you know something, more tips at CandaceOwens.com. I have so much more for you guys. I have been slow playing this, obviously, because they wanted to pressure me to put everything out instantly, but I'm not an idiot. I need to know every single person at that company who betrayed Charlie. I need to know every single one of them. I need to know the good guys and the bad guys.
Oh, she is going to drag
And,
this out all fucking year.
Anyways, what I have to show you guys next
Can
week.
you imagine
is
it's like the year 2035 and we're still doing this or something? Like she's still doing it?
It wouldn't surprise me if that were the case, honestly. All right, well, I guess that's the end of that episode. So we don't get any Erica Kirk lesbian love story in this episode, but maybe next week. Maybe we'll talk about Erica being a lesbian next week. Amalek, do you have any final thoughts on the Candace affair?
Not really, dude. I'm so sick of these people. Like everyone is so dumb. Everyone is so stupid. Like I don't know. It's so blackpilling seeing that she is like the number one person doing anything. You know what I mean? Like she's like the biggest voice for all these types of ideas. It's just really blackpilling.
You know, I thought today would be a break from protest coverage because we've been watching noise protests lately and they're really fucking annoying. I don't know if you've watched any of them. And I was like, you know what, we're going to take a break today and we're going to watch something light and fun. And now I have even less faith in humanity than I had before.
Yeah. Like this is the okay. That's a great point. This is basically like what Candace is doing is the opposition to what you're watching.
Yep.
So it's like you sit there and you're watching these idiots do stupid shit all day, the noise and the stupid speeches and all the clown shit. And then you're like, oh, I wonder who's fighting against that, who's like opposing that. Maybe they'll do a good job since the other side's so retarded. And then you go look at Candace and she's more retarded. She's more useless. The whole right wing and Trump and all these people are more useless and retarded to like fighting against this.
This is why I've just go ahead. Sorry.
I'm convinced that like the purpose of this whole Trump thing is to cause enough chaos that he can just justify trying to stay in power. I mean, it really does seem like that, right?
I don't know. I don't know that Trump wants to stay in power. He's getting older.
I think he would rather die in office. He wants to. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, imagine how his like. I don't know. We'll see what he does, but the whole thing is stupid. Like this could be solved tomorrow. If Trump actually wanted to solve this problem, it could be solved tomorrow with e-verify and punishing employers. But they don't want to do that.
No, they don't want to do shit. Trump isn't doing shit to solve any of these problems. It's absurd. But this is why I've achieved a state of like acceptance. I've accepted that we're all fucked and this is all fake and gay and there's nothing we can do about it. And so I'm just gonna watch and be entertained where I can be entertained. Did you know that Jake Lang is in Minnesota and is gonna do some stunt tomorrow that's probably gonna get him killed? That's going to be fun to watch.
Oh, Jake Lang. You just saw his little stupid kicking over the ice things or whatever?
Oh, yeah. So they arrested him, but he's now out of prison and he was supposed to have a rally at the state capitol tomorrow, but now he has to stay 3 blocks away from the capitol. So I just assume there's going to be some other stunt somewhere near there. And then the entire left is going to mobilize to try to kill him.
Notice what he is, by the way. That is an ethnically Jewish man who went and visited the wall, the whole thing, who converted to Catholicism, and now he goes around acting like a fucking retard, antagonizing the Antifa in the most illegitimate, retarded way possible, as he walks around holding the cross up and saying, oh, they're so mean to white men, and the whole thing, okay? He is absolutely, without a doubt, like, hurt, like, he's useless. He's useless. He's grifting the whole thing. It's all bullshit. Like, this is the problem. This is why Christianity is a problem with like right-wing organizing, and why like the right wing needs to just accept this and stop allowing people in just because they say Jesus Christ is Lord. What happens is these influencers come in and all they have to do is say Christ is king, and they're instantly accepted by everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Instantly, with nothing else. Their ideas don't have to be interesting. Their past can be as horrible as you want. It doesn't matter. As long as they say Christ is king, they're just accepted into this thing. And like, we have to stop doing this. People should be, it should be on merit. And if somebody is like leading their political arguments with the cross, it should not be met with like seal clapping. It should be met with suspicion, because
I
it
totally
is.
agree. Everything is fake and gay, and we're all fucked, and it all sucks. That's where I'm at. All right. Well, thank you for joining us. I really do appreciate it. We definitely needed your take on that. It made it much more entertaining.
Well, that was fun. Thanks for having me again. And
Cool.
I'm gonna get my dinner now.
All right. Go enjoy. We'll talk later.
See ya.
All right, guys, that is going to conclude our episode for today. Now, I want to remind everyone we're going to be doing a Real Socialism Saturday tomorrow. So I will be doing, if Jake Lang is doing any stunt tomorrow, I'm going to get up early. I'm going to make sure I'm paying attention. I really feel good about this. I really do think Jake Lang is going to give us some good entertainment tomorrow, and it's going to be fucking awesome. But remember, we are doing Socialism Saturday tomorrow. We're doing Socialism Saturday at 6 p.m. If you've never been to a Socialism Saturday, you want to come. We are watching some content from the Socialism Conference from back in July, because there's a lot of new people, and I think you might want to see real socialism in action. And so we'll be doing that tomorrow at 6 p.m. or thereabouts. If there's protest coverage, we might keep it a little flexible, but Socialism Saturday is going to happen tomorrow. So definitely make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you mount to the like button, all that stuff. I really do appreciate everyone who sent in super chats today. I appreciate everyone who sent in gifted channel memberships. You guys allow me to do what I do. I can't do it without you. And we will be returning to the real work of socialism tomorrow. And for now, I bid you adieu, because I'm going to sleep, because I'm fucking tired. Anyway, guys, take care. We'll see you soon.
How are you feeling? How long have you been here?
3 months, May 17th.
And what brought you here?
That's difficult to answer.
there. How is it that playing the piano for people has eventually resulted in your being here in the hospital?
That's difficult to answer.